Hugo Higginbotham, you've had a bit of an oversight over St Kevin's. This is a very talented, as we mentioned before the break, very talented A-grade team that have been around the top end of competition for a long time. How do they like to play their footy?
Look, they defend very heavily. So they implement a full ground defence, which... Look, it's a very hard thing to do. You need every single player on the ground to be playing their role. If you leave a hole through there, it leaves an outlet for the opposition. But they're very disciplined. They've got a great coach in Plugger who's played a lot of great footy, been around for a long time. But I do know they've got a very different look back line this year. I think only one experienced player down there, so we'll see quite a few guys come through. So very interesting to watch that today.
I'm glad that we've picked up the conversation around St Kevin's, because you've also been in touch with Plugger Lynch during the week, Paddy, and I want to have a bit of a listen to what you and he had to say as well.
Plugger, thanks for your time. Do you remember the last time you were out here at Waverley Oval?
I reckon it was 2019, Paddy, and we got convincingly beaten, unfortunately. So, and maybe the last two times. So, I'll go back to 2017, mate, when we had a nice win. That was the last time we won here. So, hopefully, we can replicate that today. You were running around that day. Now you're in the coach's box. What do you expect from D-La? I think D-La are always incredibly competitive. They've obviously had a little bit of a challenging start, but I think their response to Scotch probably speaks to the fact that they've got some real resolve. So we'll certainly prepare for that version of them today, mate. But look, as always, we'll focus on ourselves. We're really thrilled with the way we played against Xavier, and keen to obviously put two good ones together.
Speaking about Zavs, your performance, especially in the defensive line, was quite interesting. You've had Sam Tucker go down there, Angus Hart's gone down there. Is that something you pride yourself on as a team?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's been massive change in that part of the ground for us. So certainly my first few years of coaching, it's been probably the most experienced part of our ground. We've built our team from that back half, but for a whole range of reasons, mainly retirements and whatnot, we've got a very different mix down there, but I really like the mix. I think it's a very dynamic back line. We've got some genuine athleticism and height with Tucker and Hart, and then obviously some experience with Jock and Seat and whatnot. But there's some really exciting players, and I think we're able to sort of propel the ball from the back half maybe better than that previous group as well. So there's a bit of work in progress, but I'm really excited with that group.
And lastly, Tom Ferguson on debut today. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, he's a ripper, mate. You'll notice him pretty early in the game. He'll start in at the first centre bounce. He was the first 13 captain of the school team a couple of years ago. Spent a couple of years up at Bond University. He's now back, and he's a VFL listed player at Richmond. But just a really dynamic midfielder. As I said, apart from his bright red hair, the way he plays is incredibly sort of speedy and skillful. You'll notice him really early, and confident he'll have a good game for us on debut.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Paddy.
Thanks to Plugger Lynch for that chat. A fourth member of our commentary team today here on the SEN app and on VAFA.com.au is Harrison McIlwaine, who's made a name for himself with his wonderful Premier C reporting over these last few weeks. How are conditions down at ground level, Harrison?
Good morning, fellas. Good afternoon. It's a bit greasy, to be honest with you. So looking for players to try and keep their feet today will be a feature of this one. But there's very little breeze to speak of. A little bit overcast, but that should be okay.
Wonderful stuff, mate. You're out near the Melbourne Road wing. Benches, conditions expected to remain sort of overcast how they are today?
I believe so, yeah. We had a quick look at the bomb pre-game, and there's a little bit of rain about, but yeah, I don't think it's going to clear up too much.
Beautiful, Harrison. We'll catch up with you across the course of the day. Quick one here, go around the grounds because some games have already started. There's a goal already, I believe, at Toorak Park.
Absolutely. So Old Haileybury off to a great start. 1-1-7, nothing for the Zavs yet. Donuts will not be liking that.
That's all thanks to Munker, bringing you a tough, practical, fashionable and affordable product. The toss happening a few moments ago, which you might have seen on our stream at vafa.com.au. Be D-La kicking to the right of your screen, the playground end for those listening on the SEN app. Doesn't feel like there's too much of a wind, Matt and Hugo. Maybe one blowing into our face here on the broadcast wing. We're just in front of the train station. It feels like it's fairly even conditions, although as I say that, we just get another gust that's blowing right into my face.
It's wind shouldn't play too much of a factor here. Generally, the opposite end from the playground is the scoring end. We've probably noticed, if you haven't been to this ground before, you've got about a half a metre difference in elevation from one end to the other, and expect to see a lot of the ball on our side of the ground. I mean, this is D-La's ground. They should know how to play this pretty well, so I can't see conditions having too much of an effect on today's game.
Just want to reflect on one comment that was made by Coach Plugger Lynch earlier. He's debutant Tom Ferguson. Now, I love a brave coach, starting Tom Ferguson in the guts, first centre bounce on his first game to St Kevin's. That takes a bit of bravery from the coach, and clearly there's a great deal of faith that he's got in the youngster to be able to deliver. He'll be running around to the number 56 today for those playing along at home who are watching the stream. You'll be able to see the bright red hair flowing from the centre bounce. I love that. I don't know about you, Hugo, whether you'd have such confidence in a youngster as a coach, but I think this is a great move.
Well, look, I don't talk about hair because mine's gone grey these days, but look, what Plugger's got, he's got confidence and faith in his system and the training that they've got there and the guys around him. So if you've got someone, regardless of age, if they've been in the system, they're trained up well, they know what to do, becomes second nature, and look, he's got a very experienced side around him, so hey, why not throw the boy straight in there?
2 goals to zip over at Toorak Park. Old Haileybury have the start there. Could be a big story as the day develops. We'll keep you abreast of all the results. One thing I like about Tommy Ferguson is that we weren't sure of his number when we turned up to the ground today. So I walked up to the man himself. Nice to meet you, Tom. Do you know what number you're wearing today? And he looked me dead in the face. He said, mate, I'd love to tell you. I don't know. So we had him down for the 71, but we think he's going to stay in the 56. Don't you love suburban footy? This should be a really super contest. And just on Ferguson, he's got quite the storied footy career. So obviously, as Plugger mentioned, he was the captain of the APS squad at St Kevin's College. But then he went up to Bond Uni as part of the Rewalt family AFL Excellence Scholarship. So he's a smart cookie. Did a Bachelor of Business, I believe. Played for the Bull Sharks up there in the QFA. Returning to Melbourne this year, he's on Richmond's VFL list. There's a couple for St Kevin's who are down there. George Delamitru is a train-on, I believe, for the Tigers after an improved pre-season. You'll see George running around in the number 22, last year's under-19s captain.
Great number 22, and also a very good footballer, George Delamitru, was best on ground in the under-19s grand final despite St Kevin's losing, which goes to show what a footballer he is, because that's no mean feat to be best on ground in a losing grand final. He kicked 3, and really it was his efforts that kept St Kevin's in the game all day, so good to see him getting another opportunity in the seniors side.
And who you won't see out there today for the Scobbers is Jack Marnie. I believe it was a fitness test on a groin that he hasn't quite got up for. Connor Lynch won't be playing as well. Sam Cameron in the number 43 comes in after missing round 2 through injury. So we're just about ready for a start here. Hugo, Matt and Harrison. I'll start with you, Hugo. Who's your tip today?
Oh, look, you can't go past St Kevin's. They've been the benchmark for a long time. They've got a good experienced side. Dealer, on the other hand, they're back up to A. Look, younger side, they're still finding their feet. They're looking to improve every week. So that would be their focus. But I would say, let's say St Kevin's by 6 goals.
Again, yeah, hard to go past St Kevin's preliminary finalists last year. Could very easily have gone all the way in that campaign, getting a win off the last start. And one thing you mentioned before we went to air, Hugo, was that they are a very defensively minded team. St Kevin's as a first sort of priority. And if you focus on low scoring, it does give D-Lar a chance that they can always sort of be within touching distance in terms of a margin. So they wouldn't be without a chance, particularly on their home ground. But yeah, hard to go past St Kevin's if I'm just backing a winner.
So the last time they won here at Waverley Oval, St Kevin's, was round 2 2017, which is almost 8 years to the day ago. We're out by 4 days. Tom Jock, Sam Critchley and Anthony Lynch all played in that game for St Kevin's. So unless there's a serious injury issue, I don't think we'll see Anthony Lynch running around in the footy jumper.
We're more of a chance to get out there today.
Well, considering how close we are to the boundary line, I reckon we might have a few kicks if we're lucky. We'll head over just briefly to St Bernard's College, where Old Brighton have kicked the first 2 goals of the game. So our man Joey Pignataro, who I believe is wearing his St Bernard's jumper underneath the college shirt there on the balcony.
Not. Come on, Joey.
Come
on, Joey.
Should the Snow Dogs go okay, Hugo, we might be seeing the young man's chest hair.
Oh, look, if they get on top, it might be button by button, it'll come down. Hey, what number do you think he'd be wearing today?
Joey?
00?
I reckon number 1.
Yeah.
It's the 01 as well. Just a reminder to us all where he sits in the pantheon of VAFA callers across the competition. A reminder that you can watch all the other Premier footy games around the comp, in the men's comp, the Blues and the Blacks at Melbourne Uni Oval. We're at donuts there as far as scores are concerned. Of course, St Bernard's and Old Brighton, that's the community TV game on the Herald Sun website. Old Zaverians and Old Haileybury at Toorak Park. That one has a stream as well, which, again, 10-minute mark of that first quarter. Old Haileybury 2-1-13. The Zavs yet to score. So we'll be keeping you abreast of that one, because that could be a serious result if that one's going to continue on that way. It is very early, of course, in that game. Still waiting for the start here at Waverley Oval. A little bit of a later one after our pre-match ceremony, which was really lovely. It was great to see clubs do that well. I can see that Hamish Reimers is the ruck here for St Kevin's in their little midfield setup right in front of us. So he's their sort of reserves ruckman. He comes in for the injured Billy Coates. How is it filling the void of someone like Billy Coates, who's into his 30s now? He's played for a long time in VAFA footy. He used to be a key defender, big V ruckman last year. I'll be interested to see, Hugo, how St Kevin's midfield works with Hamish today.
Look, big shoes to fill, definitely, but football's a game of opportunity sometimes. When you get one, you've got to take it, and I can see Reema's really, look, he's a young, fit lad as well. He'll be jumping, he'll be looking to have some influence around the ground, and don't worry, he's been trained really well. He'll know exactly what to do. That midfield in there is probably, well, it's one of the better ones in the competition, so they will be telling him exactly where they want the ball and how they want it as well. So, but it should be a good contest today, because like you said before, Delo are a very tall side.
They are a really tall side as they break from their huddle. There's one guy who I really like the look of is Sasha Damashki, who was the Under-19's Premier League best and fairest last year, played his footy at St Bede's Mentone. He's good mates with Rob Amendola, and he's involved in the Rookie Me Academy as well, Sasha, and he wanted to play his footy at the highest level possible, so he's got down to the Dairy Belt. Been seeing him line up inside 50 in the last couple of seasons, so keep your eye on the number 18 for D-La, who's just played the 5 senior games of footy. We spoke a little bit about the big timber that they've got. They're smaller guys. We're used to seeing Christian Algieri and Jake Williams dominate the midfield today. Not going to be the case because neither are playing, so it's Nick Buffalo who'll be waxing with Rob Amendola, you'd think, for the entirety of today's game in the inside midfield. They'll have Hodges and Winter, those the number 2 and the number 3 for St Kevin's, who will go all day in the centre of the ground. Not too far away here from a start at Waverley Oval. This has been the Saturday warm-up, all thanks to Mequicare. They're a team of pardon me, got my read wrong. That's a good one. That's also Sport Victoria with a little bit of free advertising off the rip. Great sponsors of the VAFA Mequicare as I just regain my composure. Not too far away from a start. You're in the capable hands of Matt Donald for the first quarter here at Waverley Oval.
So there's the aforementioned Reemers against Stanton to get us underway here in the ruck. We wait the players making their way into position. St Kevin's will be kicking to the scoreboard end, which is the left of your screen. And the hosts D-La kicking to the playground and to the right. Here we go, siren sounds. Round 3 VAFA action is underway at Waverley Oval. Tossed up, it was Stanton who got the tap down initially. They're trying to crash through. There was Winter, got the hand pass out. And a kick out towards half forward for St Kevin's, playing out in front, taking a strong mark on that occasion, doing quite nicely was Barnett, who wheels and goes, drives it long towards the top of the square. Good mark though, well judged by Bowen, going back and taking the mark, and looks to drive it out towards the back flank. It's a bouncing ball, gathered here by Day, who stops, props, settles, and then looks to kick further up the line. No good though, it's been turned over. Anthony Seaton in best position takes the intercept mark on the wing.
Let's watch for D-La here, set up behind the ball. Great intercept mark by Bohan before.
So Seaton, told to go by the umpire, does drive it up to half forward. Barnett flew, couldn't take the mark. Spills there to Bowen, who gets it around on the left boot out towards the back flank contest. Knocked to ground and then cleared away out towards the wing again by D-La. And there might be a free kick here for a high tackle. It is, it's going against Burley. Kick to be taken there by D-La between wing and half back.
So Indovino, who won the toss, and he's kicking to the right of your screen. Playground end. That wind has just picked up just a little bit, blowing right in our faces. Maybe dropping that kick a touch short as it went down the far side wing. Tom Jott takes it out. Right next to the benches, Hugo.
I just noticed before those 2 entries from Scobber, they're probably a little bit shallow, Bohan, easy to pick that off. And I did speak to Plugger before the game. That was something he wasn't happy with last week. So the big fella won't be happy with that one.
Sean Fisher's got the job on Paddy Kerr, who led the goal kicking last year. Reemers will reach over the top and with his second attempt flicks it only as far as Day of D-La, who goes inside 50. Again a shallow entry, good mark. There's Luke Healy, whose hand of God it was called here at D-La, got them into A grade in the prelim final last year against Old Trinity. He was plying his trade as a defender. Here he is 50 metres out, directly in front. So that wind is blowing right into us. So you'd think he'd want to start this Hugo left-hand goalpost and maybe bring it across.
Absolutely. Look at the big guys down there on the line. They might get involved here.
Left foot up, Healy set it on its way. It's coming back on the breeze. Oh. It's probably fallen half a metre short in truth. It's picked off by the St Kevin's defence. So you were right. The big fellas on the line, Hugo, crucial.
Yes. Deep forward line here, so when you're 45-50 out, it's a long way home.
Hart with the kick out of full back. It's a floaty wobbler. It doesn't go very far. It's been turned over. Slick little hand pass here. Might be an opportunity, although there was a fumble. Appeals for high, and I think the umpire has paid it. One umpire missed it, but the other has paid it, so it's going to be an opportunity for goal here for D-La Salle in the opening minutes to be taken by Nick Buffalo.
And that's where you expect to see Nick Buffalo, bottom of the pack, crumbing ball. He puts his body on the line now. He's hopefully going to get rewarded with a goal, but that's where we'll see him all day.
Well, we mentioned his performance last week in the pre-game. 17 disposals, 11 tackles. So certainly has no issues getting in and under. What an opportunity this would be for D-La to get the first goal of the game here. He'll be kicking from about 40 metres out. Not much of an angle to speak of, Nick Buffalo. Crosses the 50 now. Trots in. Sends the kick on its way. Clears the goalpost. It splits the middle. The goal umpire did not move. Perfect start for D-La. Nick Buffalo. He's got the first of the game. A few minutes into this opening term, 3.5 to be precise. D-La 1 straight 6, St Kevin's yet to score, and that's on the Bendigo Bank East Melbourne scoreboard.
Yeah, look, great start by D-La there, especially when St Kevin's had the ball early, a couple of entries, they didn't panic, some really good intercept marking, they worked the ball up the ground, and then they're playing for a little bit of luck up there, and that happens sometimes. But Buffalo, excellent work there, bottom of the pack, look, we're going to see him all day, and didn't get phased by it, didn't release the ball, and got the free kick. Excellent goal.
Old Haileybury lead by 4 goals over the Eldsavarians at Toorak Park. That game is on VAFA.com.au, where you can tune into everything over the course of our showcase weekend. Here's Winter of Scob, has Hodges by hand, who thought about giving it to Ferguson, the debutant. Instead, sat his kick really high, hoping for Darmody. It's Filipovic who takes the intercepting mark and kicks it short. Wants the handball receive as well. Amendola content to hold it up. Now goes towards us, broadcast side. Gunson, that's a massive hit. 2 players down. Gunson of Scott first to his feet. Great to see Trent Shannon rebound as well. There were 2 players there, Hugo, with eyes only for the footy. Yeah,
very, very brave by Gunson there. Like you said, only eyes for the footy, and made sure that he really wanted that one.
Both players back to their feet, which is a massive relief because, well, we're only about 15, 20 metres away from that one, and we heard that one loud and clear. Here's Seaton of St Kevin's at centre-half back and switches to Richards. She's Big V representative. He's going to chip it short down that far wing. Here's Critchley. Move it by hand. It's a bit sloppy, though, in truth, by St Kevin's. They had an opportunity to drive it inside 50. Instead, it'll be locked up. Centre of the ground at Waverley Oval. D-La leading it by a kick. 5 minutes gone.
It's probably disappointing handball there by Critchley. It was actually a pretty easy one. Would have had them away and running.
Remus with the tap down. Wasn't finding a team up. Hodges was there, had it, lost it, and then D-La have won it back here. Kick into the middle of the ground, was knocked away by Seaton, who then goes and runs after it. Doesn't get the football, though. It's Hodges instead, who's caught by Bowden in a strong tackle. The umpire will call for it. Between centre and centre-half forward here for St Kevin's. Still looking for their first score. 5.5 minutes gone here in this opening term. Remus got a good leap at the football, punched it forward. It's given St Kevin's an opportunity here inside 50. Trying to gather it cleanly there was Gunson. He couldn't take it. And now tracks towards the boundary line. D-La get it back. A kick from Cameron out towards the back flank. Diving attempt, trying to take the mark there. It was unsuccessful. It trickles over the boundary line and will get a throw in. Right in front of where the majority of the crowd are positioned here at Waverley Oval.
That's your man Jamie Brooker, Hugo. He does look huge.
Yes, he's a big boy, and unfortunately couldn't get to that one, but just a little bit of a miss kick coming out of D-La's back half.
So Bandera played a toss this about 10 metre starting point from 10 metres in field. Winning a tap out with his boot there was Stanton. But St Kevin's, who look like they're going to win the clearance. Bit of a fumble there. Here's our boy on debut, Ferguson. Gets the hand pass back. Another slick one, and here's Seaton again, who's had a lot of the football early. Kicks towards half forward. Stanton had it, lost it. He was pushed off the ball. D-La win it back in. Here's Cameron again, kicking it across the ground, although it's been turned over. Richards now with a kick inside, attacking 50. Bouncing ball. Kurzweil on his own. Don't know how that happened. He doesn't care. He snaps it through. One straight apiece here in this opening term. Almost 7 minutes gone at Waverley Oval. D-La 1 straight 6, St Kevin's 1 straight 6. That's on the Bendigo Bank East Melbourne scoreboard.
Great setup there by Scob. You know, the debutant Ferguson coming in, who is a caller's dream because you can tell where he is anywhere on the ground with that red hair. But that was just a skill error by D-La there. They did get the intercept, went to transition to the other side of the ground, which is right, but you got to hit those ones. You absolutely have to hit those every time, otherwise a side like Scob are going to make you pay.
It was a poor effort in transition. They were away on the far side of the ground, the Malvern Road wing rather. Just, couldn't hit that kick, and that let Richards in, and from there it was all over Red Rover. Back in the middle, Remus, his handball was interrupted on its way through to Walters, who has it okay. He's now been wrapped up. Beautiful tackle, holding the ball. Lopped the arm off magnificently, did Indovino. This is a long way from home, 2 kicks. Here's the first one on the left. Drives it deep inside 50. It carries the pack, goes all the way in the jock direction in the back pocket for St Kevin's and out.
Very good forward defensive player in Indovino. So once you get tackled by him, you get locked up. And as you saw there, deceptive long kick from Indovino there too. I think the forward team got caught out how far he kicked that.
It's a tricky wind. It's sort of blowing into us a little bit, but it's a touch swirly, and there's just a little bit of drizzle here at Waverley Oval as the ball comes back in left forward pocket for D-La, who are making a nice run at it early in the piece here. Cameron's on top of the footy. He'll be joined by a few opponents. One of those, Rob Amendola, will have another restart. So about 15 metres out from goal. Ball goes back in the air. Reamers won it down, tapped it in the direction of Winter, who's working in the shoebox in the back pocket, gave it to Jock. His handball in the Mansfield direction. It trickled on a little bit. D-La forced the turnover. They've been good to start. A kick that will go towards the pocket, and in fact a little bit too far out. They got a front half turnover, just couldn't get a mark there, Hugo.
Just noticing a lot of work going to Tom Jock from the D-La boys. Every time he's got the ball or near the ball, they've got real physical pressure on him. So let's just see what happens there.
So Winter with the kick in the back pocket, drives it out towards the back flank. Big pack of players here. They're going to do well to mark this. Lots of players go to ground. No free kick according to the umpire. Gunson has it, and he's immediately set on by a couple of D-La players. The umpire will call for it on the edge of the centre square here. A half forward for D-La. Must have again, both rucks got a tap to it. Reamers still, and there's... Well, they've worked this quite nicely. Ferguson tried to tap it to his advantage. He wasn't successful, but he's picked it up again here. And then on the left boot, looks to kick further afield. That's nice. Mark taken by Barnett. Hand pass inboard to Dillamitru, who gets one away, although it has been cut out. D-La can rebound from here, although the hand pass wasn't picked up cleanly. And there's Ferguson again, who was well caught. Good tackle there by Bowden, not rewarded by the umpire. It's all happening very close to the boundary line now, and eventually it does go over, and we'll get a throw in.
One thing I've noticed, Hugo, is that when St Kevin's were coming out of their back pocket, D-La seem intent to stop them from switching the ball at all.
Absolutely. They're giving them no time or space. A lot of pressure going. That's why we're seeing those errant handballs there. The Scobbs really like that back release run in a wave, but D-La not giving them a chance to do that today.
So we'll get a boundary throw in again here. Reamers with front spot, taps it down. Oh, how slick was that? What a bit of roving there by Walters, who kicks it towards full forward. No mark taken. It's in dispute about 20 metres out from goal. Strong tackle there from McKinnon. Umpire waves play on, and we'll call for a stoppage. How about that tap work from Richards down to Walters?
Amazing there, but I know Plugger will be very happy with the entry from Walters there. Gone a little bit deeper, so it puts a lot more pressure on the D-La backs.
Kerr and Young. It's Kerr who wins it down. A flying snap by Gill, interrupted on the way through. Well, it wasn't actually. Fisher takes the mark, kicking about 15 metres and goes short. Here's Max Miller on debut. So that fellow was coached by his dad in the under-19s, and he was also a skipper at that level. He switches fields, and they'll go all the way to Ethan Bowden. He's the nephew of Joel and Patrick Bowden. Finds Indovino right in front of us. Broadcast wing. 2.5 kicks from goal. Kick on the bounce. Didn't quite get to Healy the way he'd want, and he'll be wrapped up by Seaton.
Just noticing Indovino playing very high today. He usually likes to be inside that 50 arc where he's dangerous, but he's being effective so far.
Young's got Reamers for company. Flips it out the back, was hoping for a blue and yellow jumper. There weren't any there. Clattered into a ground level. Looked like it was an Indovino who got a knee to the face. The umpire called play on. Gee, it's hot in the kitchen early. Fierce tackling from D-La. They force another stoppage, true centre half forward.
Just from a coach's hat point of view, that back tap, coaches hate those ones. You just give the opposition that little bit of impetus to get a bit of run on.
Young, using his superior body strength there to tap it down. He goes and roves it. It's two. Gets a kick away. The umpire will pay the mark. Players colliding into each other. Good courage shown all round there. Still in dispute here. It's come out now. Stepping through traffic nicely there was Dimashki. He just about gets a kick away in the end. The umpire waves play on. And another kick out towards the wing. This might... Well, it will bounce inside the field of play. Appeals for insufficient intent. And the umpire's going to pay it.
Absolutely. That was just get that away from me ball, and he just kicked that. There was no structure, no effort there.
So Dean John steps inside the field of play, kicks towards half forward. No mark taken. It's hit the ground level. A couple of players go to ground. Still dispute here. Can the half pass come out? It does. St Kevin's should be able to rebound from here. Slick pass comes out, and then a kick on the boot there from Jones out towards the wing. Oh, well judged mark in the end. There's good stuff there from D-La. And they'll look to bring the ball back into the middle. The mark taken by Cameron now. And he's just forced to hold him. He's got a couple of options back this way, and he does come back to Filipovic, who goes with a right boot up towards half forward. Good strong hands there by Healy, who's taken a couple of nice marks at half forward already.
Impressive mark there, impressive mark.
He's about 70 metres out from goal, goes short. So they're just happy to be patient here with the build-up. Bowden now. The leads come, he tries to hit up one of them, and the kick is ill-directed over the head of his teammate. Mark taken by Andriski at half-back.
Probably don't want to be kicking into the forward line to the smallest man on the ground.
I was going to say that if you didn't get to it, Hugo. Damashki, well, he's tenacious, but he's not 6'5". That kick was directed to Critchley. This is right in front of us. Broadcast wing. D-line by hand. Trying to force their way through. The handball came unstuck on the way to Dean Johnson. Jones takes it. And a bounce. And a fend up of Filipovic. Drives it deep inside 50. Who's back there? It's all D-lar. The defence recovers quickly. It's a hack down this broadcast wing. Young went, well, he went 2 minutes early. Delamitru takes the mark, uncontested. Beautiful dicing kick into the corridor. Mansfield. Now he'll drive it into the pocket. That was lovely from the Scobbers. It was spoiled out of Darmody's hands. A ground level Barnett fires it backwards. Gunson snaps on the left. And that will do for the Scobbers. Some slick offensive movement. And Liam Gunson puts through his first. They've got 2. St Kevin's 2 straight 12. D-Lar 1 straight 6. We've played 14 minutes in this first term. That's all thanks to Bendigo Bank East Morven.
Just noticing that amazing transition across the ground there from Scobb, so fast, knew exactly what was happening there, every player on the same page. Then player will be happy again, that deeper entry, fair enough, didn't take the mark, but they had the troops there, and just quite an easy goal in the end.
Could I just make a note on Cameron, what a great sprawl that was, going back with the flight, not to infringe, but to prevent the mark. He was unlucky because he did all the hard work, but they still got the goal anyway.
Yeah, he certainly did, but geez, it's hard for a backman when the ball's coming in like that. That came in with a lot of pace.
So St Kevin's have the lead for the first time in the day. Stanton winning the tap out at the subsequent ball up back in the centre. Went his way out towards the wing. Winter tries to crash through with the big frame, does so successfully. Hand pass comes out, and now it's Richards who steadies on the right boot, kicks the centre forward. It's a wobbly old punt, but it might work here. Hodges trying to parry it forward, gets it inside 50, but it should be here for D-Lar to clear out Day. It wasn't a great hand pass for him. He had to take a bit of time to recover, and then the hand pass comes across to Doherty, takes a bit of time, and then looks to set up a kick towards the wing. Yeah! Boy, coming over the top. Strong mark by Brooker. Also going up there with Shannon, but it's a big fella, the number 22, who's taken the mark. Looks to switch the play here, does so successfully. They can go inside 50 from here, D-Lar. It's all about the kick, and it is a good one. It works. It finds Amendola on the lead, who's marked it right on 50.
Mark of the day contender thanks to Latosca. Authentic gourmet pasta for Melbourne. Hugo, you called it very early.
I think you even looked at me there. I think if I've got this one, fella. So, no, excellent mark there by Jamie. But beautiful transition across the ground. Got to the space, and now they've got a shot on goal.
He's kicked a couple of goals this season, Amendola. He managed one last start, 22 disposals and 7 score involvements for him. Actually, no, he did kick 2 goals in the last start. My apologies. So this would be a good opportunity to get a quick reply for D-Lar. It's not an easy kick, especially with this swirly breeze. He'll be launching from outside 50. I tell you what, he's got the carry. Oh, it's a magnificent kick. Great finish from Robert Amendola. And scores a level once again at Waverley Oval. 16 minutes gone here in the opening term. And on the Bendigo Bank East Melbourne scoreboard, it is 2 straight 12 apiece.
So excellent mark there by big Jamie Booker. Third man in line. Transition across the ground, and then you love your midfielders rolling forward there, getting on the end. But a beautiful execution by Rob Amendola, who's come across from the Southern League, and he's looking like he's enjoying this at the moment.
He was actually 4th in the Div 2 League best and fairest count last year in the Southern Footy League was Rob Amendola. 2 goals last week, 2 goal assists as well. So he's really found his place in Nick Hyland's squad, and I reckon Nick would be pretty happy with how things have gone in the first 16 and a half minutes here against St Kevin's. D-Lar all square. Hodges in the middle of the ground for St Kevin's, received the handball and took off. Great tackle. Looked like Shannon. It was just about the horse collar. Here's Mansfield for St Kevin's laying a strong tackle of his own. Hodges is back to his feet. Kicks it in under duress inside 50. Fisher comes across with the spoil. Darmody's there at ground level. D-Lar player down behind play. Fisher lays a tackle on Gill. The umpire might just have to hold things up just for a moment because it looks to be a D-Lar defender who is down on the ground.
I think that
like Carvelis, rather.
That may have been a bit of friendly fire from Big Fish there as well. It's great to see that Fish is over there, the first one to console him as well. Sorry, mate, but I had to do that.
Yeah, there's some trainers now coming up to Carvelis, who is just lying on his back, now sitting up. looks a little bit sore, maybe pointing to his back there, Hugo. It looked like a heavy landing.
Yeah, definitely, but I think he's just trying to get some wind in at the moment because the big fella came through, as they do, and he only had highs for the ball, and sometimes a bit of collateral damage, but he'll be fine.
Harrison McIlwaine is our man on the boundary today. He'll be keeping his eye on that one as the ball goes back into the air. And Delar clears zone quickly, but momentarily Andriski takes the intercepting mark 60 metres from goal. That is a bullet of a left boot, goes deep into the pocket. Here's Gill, great rove. His handball was picked off by Filipovic, who's now in trouble, evaded one tackler. That was Darmody. And then was he clipped high after the fact? He was. So the umpire will bring this back to the top of the defensive goal square, and Filipovic will have the footy.
Downfield, I think that was.
Oh, downfield, my apologies, in the left back pocket.
Yeah, so sort of between the back pocket and half back flank here for Delar now. And a long kick up towards the wing. Oh, it's a good strong mark. Playing in front, Angus Hart did well in a pack of about 4 or 5 players strong. Took it in one clean grab, and he can send St Kevin's back into attack here. Sends it back whence it came into that pocket. Kerr's the target, had about 3 to contend with. He socked it off the ground, and I tell you what, it was goal bound as well. But it was a good defensive effort at the last, denying the goal. And it's the first blemish of the day. 2-1-13 St Kevin's, Delar 2 straight 12.
For Author Sport Victoria, let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine. You just watched Stephen Carvelis go past you, Harrison. How is he?
He seems to be okay. He's copping some attention sitting on the massage table right now. He had a smile on his face, so it looks okay. I would be surprised if he doesn't get back out there.
That's good news as Delar advanced the ball to the wing. Thank you, Harrison. Here's Indovino. He's going to go to the edge of 50. Burley will close in on Healy. Does a good job. Gets the ball out of play. Appealing for the free kick there. It was Luke Healy. Nothing forthcoming from the men in green.
A little bit frustrating there. Beautiful kick by Indovino, but Healy just the one-handed effort there. You'd like to see your big forwards really having a good, strong goal grabbing those.
Bendigo Bank East Malvern scoreboard. It's 2-1 St Kevin's. 2 straight Delar approaching time on. First quarter. Round 3 Premier Men's VAFA action. Tap out the back of the contest. Advantaged Mansfield, who gave it to Richards by hand. He took a bounce. Went by hand to Barnett, who dropped the footy. Opportunity lost momentarily. Gill did well. Got it back to Richards, who kept on running. Now past centre wing, and it will kick inside 50. Fisher's going to have to work back hard here. Great spoil. Fantastic stuff from the veteran, who got that ball loose of Critchley's grip, and now Bowen. That's wonderful stuff from the veteran, Hugo.
Hey, Fisher will love the ball coming in long and deep because that's what big, strong defenders want. They want to get into a wrestle.
A kick out towards the back flank. Oh, it's not a good one. It's now in dispute all of a sudden. The hand pass comes back. It was ill-directed for Hodges. So Delar should be able to get out of trouble here. They've got it on the wing all of a sudden. Hodges won it back. Gets the hand pass out to Dillamitru. Straightens up on the right boot. Tries to spear a pass in towards Barnett. But it's knocked away from him. Had to play for a boundary throw in.
Tell you what, the pressure from both sides here is elite. There's not a lot of time and space.
It's just a 1-point lead to St Kevin's. We've now ticked past the 20-minute mark here of this opening term at Waverley Oval. It's been a good competitive start to this round 3 encounter between these two sides. The umpire tosses the ball back into the field of play. Playing in front there was Remus. Got the hand pass out to Richards, who's provided a lot of run early. Gets past his man, looks to spear a kick into the forward line. And coming out diving, taking the mark there was Sam Critchley. And he'll line up for goal on about a 45-degree angle, 35 metres out from goal.
Well, we spoke about Remus coming up and he's going to fill the shoes. Well, he's playing an excellent game at the moment. You can see the confidence in him as well. He just saw that ball, said, I'm taking this straight out of the ruck, released, and a little bit of an errant off the side of the boot. But if you're playing in front, you'll generally mark those.
So 1 goal 4 for Sam Critchley coming into the day for the season so far. You'll want to get the radar working. The kick's coming back. That looks beautiful. That has just got there, I reckon. Judge the breeze to perfection, did Sam Critchley. The radar was working there. He's got his first. And St Kevin's kick clear in the latter stages of the opening term. 3-1-19. They've opened up a 7-point advantage on Delar Cell, who are 2 straight 12. That's on the Bendigo Bank East Melbourne scoreboard.
Great goal there, but I'll just go back to Remus again. That was excellent play by him. You can see the confidence. He said, I want that. And fast movement out of the stoppage, out of the clearance. Just an errant kick, as we said. But still, it's good initiative shown by the big fella.
Around the grounds, thanks to Munker, 17-point leaders, the University Blacks. As it stands, Old Haileybury up by 8 points over the Old Zavarians. So a few key contests to keep an eye on. Here's Winter. He won it down, was dispossessed. Walters, back of the centre circles, evaded a couple of tacklers. Kick to the arc of 50. This will skip on a little bit. It might favour Barnett, who's got Gunson riding shotgun. Receive the tap, kick to the top of the square. Fisher well positioned. Jones forced to play from behind of St Kevin's. It goes back to Fisher. The Delar veteran, he goes to the opposite back pocket. He's been super today, the number 1. With Fraser Cameron now. Inside pass to Rob Abendola, a goal earlier in the game, and this was an ugly kick in truth towards Levi Young. It slipped through his fingers on the bounce. Damashki is there, picked it up, his handball was a little bit looping, a little bit slow in getting to Buffalo. They've done okay though. It comes away of Max Miller, the debutant. A skipping kick inside 50. Burley just chucked a shoe at it with no real idea of where that ball was going. Damashki's got it. He just gets rid of Walters. Walters held on for dear life, brought him down. The turnover forced. Here's Fogarty. He's got a dart away in the far wing.
And he kicks it up towards the wing, but it's going to be turned over. The mark taken by McKinnon on the wing.
Ferguson, rather.
Wants to bring the ball back into that debutant Miller. This kick's a little bit better. Sets it high up towards full forward. Who's prepared to fly? Went through a number of hands. It's at ground level all of a sudden. Who's going to get there first? Seaton applying the tackle. Here's Burley. That hand pass was better than his last kick. Comes out to Jock, who kicks up towards the wing. They've got time and space here. That's a well-taken mark, inches above the turf by Critchley. Looks like a slips catch. Comes back inboard. That's a lovely kick as well. Finds Winter, who's been into it early. Gets a hand pass. Jock running alongside. Kicks it along into the forward line. Where's the target? Kerr's in front. Fisher used the body well. Did everything but take the mark. And then it's cleared out of there by Dean Johns out towards the centre of the ground. It's coming back though. Mark taken by Reimers, who's been impressive early.
Just noticing Jock starting to insert himself into the game here.
So Reimers told to go now by the umpire. Sinks the big kick into it. Long down towards full forward. Big fly taken by a couple of players. No mark. Dean Johns was there. Kick comes out. Goes over the head of Cameron. Gunson trying to run onto it now. Day pursuing him. Comes back out now. Winter was going to get the hand pass. Ferguson did instead. Goes on the left boot, but his kick was smothered. Comes back to Reimers. He gets the hand pass across. And then one more. Critchley again. He's got a couple of options. Looks to go short. The kick works to Mansfield, who marks and goes. Chips into the pocket. Onto the lead. And the chest of Paddy Kerr. That was good football by St Kevin's.
Starting to get a little bit of space here, St Kevin's, and also too, they're probably lowering their eyes a little bit and getting rid of that long dump kick. They're starting to find that 20, 25, 30 metre kick around the ground where they can maintain possession and move it on those 45s. Perfect example then, but once again, my big man, and I'm calling my big man today, Reimers. I'm on Reimers today. He's actually excellent, just getting involved there, and that's what you want from your ruckman as well.
So he's already kicked the goal today, Paddy Kerr, taking to 3 goals, 5 for the season. This will take his best from here with the breeze and the angle. And I'll tell you what, it looks pretty good. Oh, the goal umpire hasn't moved. Arrow-like set shot from Paddy Kerr. He's got 2 in the opening term. And St Kevin's building on that lead and opening things up here late in this first term. 4-1-25 they lead. De La Salle 2 straight 12. And that's on the Bendigo Bank East Melbourne scoreboard.
Probably prime example there. You can see the De La entry. That was long, high, easy to defend. Scob beautifully executed up the ground. And then their low, shallow entry to a 25 metre kick to someone out in front, easy shot on goal. That's just the difference of the 2 types of entries. And I know Plugger has spoken about how he wanted to improve the entries this week. Well, you don't get any better entries into the forward line than what we just saw there.
For Munker, Ben Bilston McGillen of Old Zavarians is done for the day with a lower leg injury. His team is down by 8 points to Old Haileybury. Here's Walters, middle of the ground in our game. He's been busy in this first term. His kick was to centre half forward. Bowen with a big tackle. Get a stoppage as Critchley is wrapped up by Cavalis, who is back out there thanks to our man Harrison McIlwaine, who's on the far side of the ground and hopefully keeping himself warm. We'll get down to you in a few moments' time, Harrison, as stoppage, 26-minute mark, first quarter. Kevin's 4 of the last 5 goals of this contest to grab a lead well into this first term. We'll get a repeat stoppage.
That's a shame about Bilston McGillen because he's a good player, and if I understand, he suffered a leg injury late last season as well.
No good for the number 18 in the red and black. Let's hope he's all okay. A high arcing handball. Walters is involved again with the tackle. Well, he's gone down sore on that foot actually. Just an awkward landing as he was tackling Doherty, but he's back to his feet. The umpire, his arm will be getting sore. Another throw up. Reimers' kick was smothered. Here's Ferguson, who's had a stack of it. Delar take it away. Beautiful kick. Just a nice exit. And now Lindbergh's got it all to do. 2.5 kicks from goal. Pretty open forward line. Didn't really like the look of it. Gave it to Miller. We've seen a bit of the debutants' peak boots today. We could have gone longer and tried to find the one-on-one deep. Maybe didn't have the required torque. Instead, Miller's going to kick it to the arc of 50 or just to the edge. Big fist coming over the top there. Looked to be Burley. Whistle on the play as the tackle was laid. Delar's free kick. So from right half forward, it'll be a kick of, say, all of 50 metres. With a tricky wind to handle here. Right behind it we are. And it's going to be Trent Shannon with the job.
Just notice there, Lindbergh really took way too long because it was one-on-ones in the forward line there, and in the 1-2 seconds he waited, Scobb just got back that hard and there's numbers everywhere. And this is a very hard kick. Wind in his face. We're probably kicking from 45, 50 out. Let's look for the big guys to get involved on the line again. It's got to be a good kick, this.
18 games and 9 goals in 2024 for the 26-year-old. He played his footy around here. He's kicked it into the man of the mark, and he'll have to go and do his own roving. Flicks it in the Miller direction. He'll get a second free kick in succession. Shannon, but a little bit further out from where he was last time.
A lot of things frustrating when you're a coach, but there's nothing more frustrating than kicking into the man on the mark.
I bet he doesn't do it this time.
Let's find out, shall
we? Shannon, now he's called to go by the umpire. He does just get over the man on the mark. Kicks it into the pocket. No mark taken. Spills to Gunston, who just hoops it out of there. Anywhere will do. Well, there won't, because Stanton's marked it at centre half forward. Reckons he's about too far out, so instead hits up a lead. That's a good kick. Mark taken by Levi Young, who will be within range.
That was just get that ball away from your kick, and he's gone back into the middle of the ground. I don't know what he was doing there when he had guys down the line. If you are going to do a dump kick out of the back line, you generally want to go long, straight, and boundary side.
Now, wouldn't this be a way to endear himself to his teammates, Levi Young? First game for D. Sell on the siren. An opportunity to close the gap to 7 points here at quarter time, rather. No, we haven't got that far ahead in the game. He'll take a good kick, though. He'll be kicking from just inside 50, Levi Young. He's pushed it well across the face. It's only just snuck in for a minor score. And that'll be all she wrote at quarter time. That behind takes D-Lar to 2-1-13 on the Bendigo Bank East Malvern scoreboard. They trail St Kevin's by 12 points, who are at stage 4-1-25.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Keep up to date with everything that's happening around the VAFA by subscribing to our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, LinkedIn and TikTok. Join in the fun with the best pics, videos, stories and reels from around the competition. Send us your best and we might share them around the league. VAFA Socials. Search VAFA and VAFA Women's on your favourite platforms.
VAFA Action is back for 2025 and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45pm.
Quarter time in East Malvern, it's D-Lar 2-1-13, St Kevin's 4-1-25. Paddy Kerr with 2 goals for the visitors, singles for Gunson and Critchley, Amendola and Buffalo. The 2 additions this year at D-Lar with the goals. For the boys who like to ring the dairy bell, and Hugo Higginbotham, it's been an impressive performance, especially in that first half of the quarter from D-Lar, but in time on last 10 minutes, they just fell away a little bit, I think, with their structure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the first 20 minutes there was excellent. There was no time and space given, plenty of pressure on the ball carrier. Scobb liked to play that game where they hit each other up, find that space, and D-Lar didn't allow that. But just a little bit of confidence, little lack of concentration, whatever happened there, the last 5 minutes, D-Lar just let them get back in, and you could see what St Kevin's have got in them. They can dominate a game in a short period of time because the scores were level, I think, or maybe even D-Lar in front, and now they've got a couple goal buffer.
Yeah, the 12-point margin is a point inside what was the largest margin of the day. Levi Young just getting it back with that shot after the siren, but missed. Matt Donald, what impressed you about that first term?
I think the way the run and carry from St Kevin's, moving it from defence to attack, and a couple of the names, Liam Gunson, Alistair Richards, who I thought his run and carry was terrific in the opening term, and even Tom Jock rebounding out of defence towards the end. I think that ball movement and the speed with which St Kevin's were moving with the ball allowed them to open up the defence, whereas De La Salle, there was a lot of sort of stopping and propping once they got beyond the centre, trying to hit up leads with sort of slower ball movement. St Kevin's just moved a lot quicker, and that is what creates the space. And I've got to say, it's the weekend for opportunities, particularly with the ruckman. We saw Jonty McGuinness yesterday for Collegians. He was very good against a seasoned campaigner in Will Clark, and that was his first game for Collegians. And today we're seeing Hamish Reamers make the most of a similar opportunity in the ruck. And I know Hugo's already claimed him 30 minutes in.
He's mine. He's one of my proteges. I think I've been down there, a little bit of work, just said, plug a stand aside. I know you've played 200 games of ruck. I'll take this. But no, he's very impressive, and he's not lacking confidence either. You know, he's coming up high grade. It's good to watch, and watch him insert himself more in the game.
He's been good, the big number 67. He carries a heavy number. He plays a heavy brand of football. We'll be hearing from Anthony Plugger-Lynch in just a few minutes' time. Harrison McIlwaine is down near their huddle, and we'll grab Plugger off the back of that. That's all thanks to Munker. That bring you tough, practical, fashionable and an affordable product if you're into your workwear kind of gear. Let's go around the grounds briefly. Some interesting scores. So Old Haileybury started hot. They've been ratcheted back a little bit by the Zavs. It's a 9-point advantage to the Bloods. Over at the University Oval, it's the Blacks by 16 points over the Blues. A 12-point lead for Old Brighton is the latest score we've got out at the college there at St Bernard's. And of course, yesterday, you mentioned this, Collegians. It was a superb performance. Matt, you were calling the socks off. A 38-point win for the Premiers of 2023, who had a tough start to 2025 so far. Yeah,
their pressure yesterday, Collegians, was excellent. Right from the opening bounce, they just didn't give Scotch room to breathe for 4 quarters. Scotch probably made a bit of a comeback late in the first half, but as soon as the door opened for Collegians to regain the ascendancy in the second half, they slammed it shut really quickly. They were thoroughly impressive and really did deserve that win yesterday. Full marks to Geordie McKenzie and his Chargers. They'll be most pleased.
Let's now head down to Harrison McIlwaine. The St Kevin's huddle has just broken, and in a few moments' time he'll have the coach of St Kevin's, Anthony Plugger-Lynch, beside him. Let's go down to Harrison now.
Last 5 goals in that quarter. What pleased you the most about the run?
I was actually frustrated, to be honest. I think we got a bit lucky. Some of their skill errors gave us an opportunity to score. It looked like they were sort of waiting for someone else to do it, which is frustrating. So hopefully they reset and their effort's better. As I thought, Delar, albeit on the score, she had the better. Hopefully we can rectify.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks to Plugger-Lynch for that chat. I was interested, Hugo, in his messaging about what did he say? That players are waiting for someone else to do it.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes. Dangerous game for them. I mean, you think St Kevin should win this game. I mean, anything can happen, but everyone here today in the crowd is going, well, St Kevin should probably win. And other players thinking that as well. Mindset's a massive thing. Your skill level, that's affected by your mindset too. The one thing you don't want to see any compromise in your effort, regardless of what the stage of the game is. But I just think, like you said, waiting for other players to do it. And you can tell Plugger's not happy with that, because that's where you don't want to compromise. You don't want to compromise that effort. And you need that intensity and effort for 4 quarters.
Yeah, spot on. Thanks to our man Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary. We might get actually back down to Harrison, because we were talking about the conditions and the rain staying away and wouldn't be nice and dry underneath our tarp here on the far side of the ground as compared to you over near Malvern Road. It's got a little bit grim in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'm freezing my socks off, to be honest with you. Plugger requested no mic in the huddle, which is as his right, but standing close enough, I could hear him very animated with his charges in that break there. So, as you picked up on there, Hugo, not exactly a happy man.
No, and look, I've really got to apologise, Harry, because I said you will not need your jacket today. Don't go to the car before the call.
Yeah, stitch up.
I can see you over there. But, mate, you are wearing shorts, so that's your call.
Hey, when you got 2 Ferraris, you don't leave them in the garage.
He likes his own work up at H. He is close enough to Melbourne Road so he can nip across and get himself a jumper if he's so inclined. The second quarter called by Matt Donald.
So here is Young and Remus in the opening term. It was Young who got the initial tap down. Hodges with a hand pass out into space now, running onto it. There was that man again in Walters who drives it deep towards full forward. Kerr at a good spot. He was held by Fisher. Fisher got away with it and then goes in high. The umpire wave play on Fisher again. Caught by a couple of Cavinians, Critchley and Kerr. Tackling numerically, 10 and 11. So we'll get a ball up. Only a few metres out here from St Kevin's goal. Already looking to make inroads in this second term. They've got a 12-point lead. Young with the tap out. Kerr had it, lost it. Then it's come out to Dean Johns. He's caught in a strong tackle. The umpire will call for another stoppage. That time it was Sammy Barnett who laid the tackle. We'll do it once again. Kerr and Young. Young grabbed it out of the ruck. Hand passed it over the top. And it's come out to Darmody who got around one, round two. Couldn't get around three. And it's holding the ball. Free kick going the way of D-Lar in the back pocket. They'll just get an opportunity to slow play here and work their way out of defence. It's Filipovic. He goes up the line, no mark taken, but it will be a free kick. So D-Lar will maintain possession.
I'll tell you what, Tom Filipovic, he's not a big fella, but he doesn't mind the tackling side of things, Hugo.
No, that was very strong tackle there, very strong. You could have seen a bit rewarded too, because it's very easy for the ump just to go, I'll give that back to me.
So a long kick down the far wing. It spilt down Levi Young's front. He's happy to do the tackling at ground level though. And we'll have another stoppage. Hart coming up. Ball back in the air. Flicked on by Hugo's man Remus in the direction of the D-Lar bench. It's come to Walters though. Fires it to Ferguson who is out and away and at the point of the centre square drives it inside 50 to Critchley. And Tom Ferguson has started brightly.
Yeah, I was going to say, we talked a lot about Remus, but Ferguson's been pretty good.
Yeah, and Walters too. And Walters. I think he was involved with that passage as well. But did start from Remus again. But no, that was smart play by them. That was a set play. They surged on that and just found the time and space.
Walters is still a 19-year-old, a number 14 for St Kevin's, supremely talented. He's actually invited into the AFL draft camp back in 2023. Now we're with Sam Critchley, who's got one already. He's got his kicking boots on today. It's a difficult shot from 40 metres out in a tight angle, but drilled the drop punt straight over the umpire's hat. He's got a pair, as does Paddy Kerr of St Kevin's, and they're just moving away nicely now, the Scobbers. 5-1-31, D-Lar 2-1-13. We've gone 2.5 minutes in the second term, all thanks to Bendigo Bank East Malvern.
So you just see there St Kevin's on full display. That was a beautiful tap by Remus, but then the execution after that, they didn't panic. They knew that short 45, and Flugger would be very happy with that entry as well. Not a shallow entry and a beautiful execution.
You know, some of the delivery into the forward line has been terrific from St Kevin's thus far. Hitting up the leads and the finishing, and particularly in this breeze, has been very impressive early. 5-1-31. They've certainly got their kicking boots on to this point, St Kevin's. Tossed back up. Remus tapped it down. He was looking for Walters. Jock burst on the back of the square. How about that? And then he drives along into the forward line, going back with a flight. Barnett almost took the mark. Has to go and fight after it now. The ball comes out to Bowen. He got away from Barnett once, twice. Gets a hand pass out. It's been turned over. Darmody. And then Critchley on the right boot. Hooks it back into the pocket. Kerr couldn't take the mark. Gathered to the ground level. Saps it towards goal and bounces it home. 3 goals for Paddy Kerr now. He and Critchley doing all sorts of damage up forward for St Kevin's. And it's a 20-point lead to the visitors. 4 minutes into this second term. 6-1-37 St Kevin's, D-Lar 2-1-13. And that's on the Bendigo Bank East Malvern scoreboard.
I actually do not know how Gill did not touch that. He just kicked that around him like he's a post or something like that. But that was beautiful execution there. Finished off really, really well. But look, the execution from the back half of the ground by Tom Jock there, that was superb. Just come steaming off the line, come through there and just didn't panic. And, you know, you can't do much when the ball's coming in like that from a D-Lar defence point of view.
That's a bit of a problem now, Hugo, because Kerr and Critchley have kicked the last 4 goals of the game between them, 2 apiece. And that little streak for St Kevin's, and they're going to go again because Remus goes down to Hodges, who breaks one tackle, flicks it out in the Delamitru direction. He's got it now under pressure from Day. This is a pretty good passage from the Scobbers, and they might go again. Barnett was looking for Walters, the handball behind him. Taken away by Doherty. It's backwards by a hand now. D-Lar under all sorts of pressure. Dean Johns' kick was too hot. It went over the head of his teammate and into the pocket. Now St Kevin's can have another crack. It came to Hodges, who snaps on the right boot. It drifts all the way across the face and through for a behind.
You can see that pressure from St Kevin's just lift now. There's no time and space for Dealer out there, and evident with that kick there.
Light rain falling now at Waverley Oval. 6-2-38 St Kevin's, 2-1-13 De La Salle.
So Carvallis brings it into Fisher in the back pocket. Just want to get their hands on the football a little bit, De La. It's been all St Kevin's in this second term. Surging it forward at will. Call to go now by the umpire. Now that kick's been smothered, so the door might open again here for St Kevin's. See what they can manufacture here. The heat comes, the hand pass comes out to Mansfield, who snaps at goal and makes them pay. They're on a tear now, St Kevin's. 7-2-44 they lead. The margin has exceeded 5 goals. It's 31 points on the Bendigo Bank East Malvern scoreboard. De La Salle 2-1-13. 6.5 minutes gone here in this second term at Waverley Oval.
Let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary.
To make matters worse for De La, prior to that second last goal, Levi Young hobbled off the field, clutching at his right knee, getting some attention on the massage table as we speak, but the grimace on his face told me he might be unlikely to reappear today.
That's not good news for De La. Thank you, Harrison, who's on the far side of the ground to us today. And it's been a blink of an eye, Hugo. They're out to 31 points.
Yes, but what's on display here is that full ground defensive effort by St Kevin's. There's just no time and space for De La, not even an option on the ground. They're famous for their defence, St Kevin's.
Your man Reimers, Hugo wins the tap down. This will come the way of De La. Buffalo goes to centre half forward. Was that nearly a mark taken by Hart? He went hard at ground level, was dispossessed, holding the footy. So Indovino, who's been busy when it's got to him, on that left, pushes it deep into the pocket. That is a beautifully weighted kick. And probably fortuitously paid the mark there.
It's been called a ball up.
Healy, no, it has been called a ball up. So it did look like the umpire initially paid the mark. The ball looked to have touched the ground, and the field umpire calls it a stalemate and says, I'll just chuck it up to resolve tensions. Well officiated in the end. Up it goes. Reimers winning it down. He's got a stack of it. So is Walters, who'll get the rebound 50. Kicks it in the Carvellis and Fisher direction, though, and it's the latter who marks for De La, the number 1. His 129th senior game of VAFA footy. It's part of the furniture here at Waverley Oval. It's a free kick at this ensuing contest going the way of De La, so Healy will get a crack at it. He's at the arc of 50. Left half forward, his side down by 31.7 minutes gone in this second term. He darts a kick into the corridor. Jock will get there with the fisto. Flicks it towards Winter, who shrugs off one tackler with disdain. Kicks it into the corridor. Fisher should get to it first on the bounce. Curse hitting shotgun. Fisher just tumbles it back from whence it came. Didn't really look, and it's a turnover.
That's the danger of just that dump kick down the line, because you're giving them a free look at it as well. Had time and space there, just didn't compose.
Dilamitra kicks it across the face of goal, taking the mark, and then Mansfield leading up to the wing. He's got it in front of Cameron, looks to go straight away. Kick over the top, and they're on again here, St Kevin's. Another hand pass, and they might just about be inside 50. Kick comes to Darmody, cruising past, receiving the hand pass, and then lining up for goal. And in the goal square, the mark's been taken, almost uncontested in the end by Callum Jones, and he'll line up point blank range.
This is just the difference here. I mean, Hodges had that kick into De La's forward line. He went high. He went to a spot that was a contested ball rather than trying to find someone who was out. But De La just not handling the run of waves that St Kevin's have at the moment.
Jones wastes no time, pops it through, and St Kevin's get another one. The last start, they managed 7 goals in the whole match against the Variants. Have got 8, and we're halfway through, well, not even halfway through the second quarter. 8-2-50 St Kevin's lead. De La 2-1-13. 8.5 minutes played on this second term for Bendigo Bank, East Melbourne.
This has all happened in about 6 minutes' time. Critchley, Kerr, Mansfield and Jones. And just like that, they're clear by 37 points. Hugo, what needs to change for De La?
De La need to try and find a little bit of time and space. They've had the ball in their hand enough, they're just not using it well enough, and that's the pressure of St Kevin's. You can see that full ground press taking away every opportunity.
So Reimers and Stanton back to the middle. De La just need a little win here. They will get the clearance though. Jock though, who's tried to be, there was a fend-off attempted on him, and Tommy Jock was not having any of that from Buffalo, holding the ball. Talk about being part of the furniture with Sean Fisher. Tom Jock is exactly that for St Kevin's. His kick was nice and wide. Melbourne Road wing. Now the kick inside 50. And it's Jones again who takes the mark on a long lead. Deep in the pocket though, so this would take his very best. Left half forward. Slight rain falling, the wind blowing towards us, so he'll have to start it fairly skinny and hope it will bring it back across. So for their 5th of the quarter within 10 minutes. Jones on approach, got a nice wide arc, tried to bring it back across, did too much work, out of bounds on the full, he won't score.
On that note, we might go down boundary side. Injury update for Author Sport Victoria. Harrison McIlwaine, Harry Levi Young, is he looking like he might be about to come back on?
Yeah, a bit of spray, a bit of tape, and now he's doing some run-throughs. It looks like he's going to soldier on. Still looks in some discomfort though. Thank
you for that there, Harrison. As the kick comes back out towards the back flank, no mark taken. Hodges was there for the fall of the ball, couldn't gather it cleanly, has to go and apply the tackle, and does so. It's very close to the boundary line there. And it still managed to somehow stay in the field of play, and then Reimers uses his big frame, shoves his opponent over the line, and we'll get a boundary throw in.
Just evident here, both sides trying to play this high side of the ground, trying to get away from that little bit of breeze that's coming across, and playing into St Kevin's hands a little bit, because that's where they want the ball.
So Reimers, who looks like he's just going to shoulder the entire ruck load today, against Stanton, who's taking a turn back in the ruck. Stanton taps it down, got front spot, might have been held, and that's how the umpire saw it. Free kick going the way of the D-Lar ruck, the number 13. What does he want to do here? I think he was thinking about the switch, but instead goes down the line. Going up one hand there was Brooker, but it's fallen to Ferguson, who roves it, kicks it back inside 50. Curtin, everything would take the mark. It slipped through his fingers at the last. The rain starting to play a factor here. And then Fisher, and then the kick comes across to Dean Johns, who marks on his chest at half-back. Looks to wheel and go. They've got a bit of space here, D-Lar, if they can use the ball well. Mark not paid there to Bafala. The umpire way playing. In fact, it was Young who's back on the ground. Getting a good test out of that knee. Hodges gathers it all in one hand. Goes out to Dillamitri. Has to come back in board. Doesn't gather it cleanly, but he gets the hand pass out. And now one more. It comes across here to Gill. The kick towards the top of the square. Kerr's there again. Drops it again. Has to go and fight after it. Does so now. He's caught by Bowen in a strong tackle. Ball comes out. Fisher's there now, taps towards the boundary line, umpire waves play on, then a high aimless kick out towards the back flank. Dillamitri marks, it may have gone out in the full anyway, so the youngster will take the kick in, and now he's called to come back over the mark, and does just go backwards, so happy to just hold on to it. Angus Hart now, every single player on the ground is in front of Hart at the moment, and looks to switch across the ground, does so successfully. Tucker now, haven't called his name too often, but he looks to drive it towards full forward, and no mark was taken there by Stanford. Fisher gets the hand pass out, and now Filipovic, he had to spin out of a bit of trouble and scrubbers a little kick up towards the wing. That's worked quite well. Shannon with a hand pass to Bafalo, who goes with a high kick out towards the wing. It's going to stay in play, and then a high kick again, this time from Burley. Try marking that. Nobody does. It hits the ground. I'd like to stop at you play in a minute. Cameron's got it now. He works out of trouble. Kicks out towards the wing. It's still in dispute. It's still in general play. Hand pass comes back in. Critchley's going to run to it now. He's pushed to the ground. It spills out now. It's still going on here at Waverley Oval. The hand pass comes back. A kick back towards centre half back. It's marked by Bowen. Bit of chance to breathe, Paddy. You take over.
Bowen's taken 2 bounces. The big fella as Matt comes back up for air. He drives it deep inside 50. 1-on-1 deep. Young went with the 1 mid. Damashki's at ground level. Flicks it. He's got some company in Bowden, who's got it now. On the left, that will bring rain if it hasn't already, considering it's sprinkling. Fisted away. Bowden was going to get a second chance to the hot spot where Jockey is. He got a fist to it. He'll come down at ground level. Ferguson is there. Just needs to work things out with his ruck within Reimers. The delay cost them St Kevin's. The ball now on the goal line. Damashki's going at it as hard as he possibly can. Hart was there as well. Eventually, it'll get out of bounds in the back pocket.
Well called there, gentlemen. That was an amazing passage of play. What we're noticing now, we're noticing a lot of skill errors from both sides. That little sprinkle of rain, we've got a wet ball out here. So it's a couple of those kicks errant off the side of the boot, a little bit of high. That's all to do with the moisture on the ball. Injury update from St Bernard's College. Thanks to Munker. Hamish Dick of Old Brighton out for the game with concussion. Reporting coming from Joey Pingataro. St Kevin's take it away from the defensive 50, and a handball chain is Richards with a bounce in the wet, if you don't mind. At centre half back, spreads it to the far wing. They've got numbers all the way down here at St Kevin's. Here's the first of them, Darmody. Great defensive effort from Cavalis to spoil the grab, but Richards has moved up. Barnett now with it. Arc of 50 dodged inside. Gave it away to Gunson. Gill screaming for it in the corridor. That was sublime from St Kevin's. Just that speed of transition there. They're running in waves. Delo had no answers to that. St Kevin's had their own ball out there in that play there. Ollie Gill directly in front. He'll kick from 49 metres out. This would be for St Kevin's 9th and their 5th of the quarter. That's only now going 15 minutes in time elapsed. I think that one passage went for about 3.5 minutes on its own, boys.
And Matty Donald is still getting his breath back after that frenetic bit of play. Back into the squad last week, Ollie Gill. Won himself 12 disposals, 15 games and 14 goals in 2024. The youngster from the paint, he's had no issue with the distance at all. And he drives it over the goal umpire's hat. They've got 9. 9-2-56 St Kevin's, 2-1-13 D-Lar. 5 goals to zip in this quarter. Hugo Higginbotham, they've taken this game away.
They certainly have. Whatever Plugger said at quarter time, and I know he wouldn't have been too happy as he said, but the boys have started to switch on a little bit, and there might have been complacency in the first quarter or whatever it was, but you're seeing them on display now. The transition from their forward, from the back 50 to their forward 50, excellent. Just the execution and the skill level as well, amazing.
5 goals to 2-0 in this term. In about 15 minutes, it's been one-way traffic in this second quarter. We do it again here in the centre. Young tapped it down in the ruck. And then Hodges applying the tackle, and we'll do it again. It's a couple of metres closer to D-Lar's goal. So Remus palmed it back. That was quite intelligent. It's gone towards St Kevin's goal, although Filipovic was there and he was caught by Mansfield. And another stoppage.
Matty, if you remember, you and I called the D-Lar Zabs. Very similar scoreline in that first game, wasn't it? D-Lar with them in the first quarter and then just dropped away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when D-Lar are on and competitive, it can be a very close contest. But when they're not at 100%, the opposition, we've seen a piled on a glut of goals, and we saw that with the Zabs on a couple of occasions in round 1, and we're seeing it again here in this second term. And what's the umpire going to do here? I think a couple of times Zabs kicked 10 goals in a quarter, and halfway through this one, Skevs have already got 5, so they're on track again. Another rock contest. Walters was there, and the hand pass has come out to Winter, gathered it nicely on the bounce, tried to duck under a tackle, back to Walters, he gets the hand pass back, now Hodges on the right boot, kicks it up towards half forward, big fly over the top, no mark taken, Delamitru roped it well, he couldn't get an effective hand pass away, Mansfield tracking it close to the boundary line, and we'll get another throw in.
For Munker around the grounds, Old Brighton 42, St Bernard's 21, so the Tunners looking like the team that will stay undefeated. If you head over to Toorak Park, it's Old Haileybury 8-5-53 leading the Old Zaverians 4-7-31, Hugo. So a big showing from the Bloods as Cal Jones gets through his mitts. Down to Walters and Delamitru. That ball didn't really spin it all the way he kicked it, and Fisher cuts it off on the bounce, runs away from Kerr, looks ahead of himself for options. There's not too many for him, so he kicks it really wide in the direction of Lingberg, who's going to have to track this down. He's got Jock for company, and Jock tackles him. Lingberg's done pretty well to hold up.
I don't think he was ever getting away from Tom Jock there, was he, boys?
He's one of the quickest players in the VAFA. He did win himself a stoppage, though, Lingberg. Centre wing, far side of the ground, right in front of our man, Harrison McIlwaine, who was watching this one play out with interest, as we'll get a second stoppage. Premier C reporter, Harrison McIlwaine, he's one of the better scribes across the Amos. The bloke who does the Premier B is no good, I'll tell you that much. Here's Walters. He's going to be wrapped up and taken straight to ground. And he's going to get a free kick, and that might spark a bit of a Barney here on the far side of the ground.
Walters
Hodges and Richards.
Walters in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Walters on his haunches. Tom Jock's got an arm around him, and
he's
Walters
fine now.
has got back to his feet to get right into the face of the player who tackled him. It looks like it's Amendola on the bottom of all of that. This is still carrying on right in front of Harrison McIlwaine. We might get down quickly to you, Harrison.
Very animated. Play's going on, but they're still carrying on.
And the kick inside 50, quick ball movement. It's caught D-Lar unaware. And on the chest, Paddy Kerr takes a strong mark, and he's looking to enjoy a return to form here. Or has there been, what's going on?
Might have been a reversal. Oh no, 50. It's a 50.
50 metre penalty. Well, it'll be a certain goal now for Paddy Kerr. He's going to kick his 4th. Right from the top of the square. It was a good show of strength from him to take the mark. He was looking at a kick of about 30 metres out with not much of an angle, but now he's going from 10 metres out with no angle and puts it through. Goal number 4 for Pat Kerr. Goal number 10 for St Kevin's. Matches their season high. No, we're only in round 3. They kicked 10 goals in round 1, and they're already at that now. 10-2. 62 St Kevin's. A very accurate game given the conditions. D-Lar 2-1-13. Still looking for their first score of the quarter. 19.5 minutes gone in it.
Just noticed Liam Walters has gone to the bench there. Probably just a little bit of a check after that, but definitely no ill effects because he was straight back into the middle of that scrap. He actually reignited it too. I actually know his father, Al. Al would be very happy with that. He's a rough, tough boy from Essendon. So
I was watching it. I was thinking Walters was in a bit of trouble. He sort of groggily gets to his feet and then gets straight into Robert Mendola. The young man, he won't die wondering. Back into the middle we go. Another little your man Hamish Reamers, who wins himself another hit out. This one though advantaged Curtis Day, who kicks it high into the sky to centre half forward. Coming from behind and clipping an opponent high was Brooker. And there's another St Kevin's player down, and this one actually looks quite nasty. Not quite sure who that is, who is lying on their back. Brooker goes over to apologise. Might have been Al Richards.
Don't think there was anything in this one, just a couple of players going for the ball.
I actually think he slipped a bit as he came down, so it might have been the impact on the ground, I think, because it wasn't, like you said, not too much in the hit, but might be a little bit winded.
Yeah, so slow to the feet there is Sam Cameron, who is just back into the side as well after missing round 2 through injury. And he's very slowly making his way from the field under assistance from a pair of trainers. Harrison McIlwaine will be all over that one as Sam approaches the boundary line for Orthosport. Meanwhile, Tucker pushes his kick wide, far wing side of the ground. This is a young man who's had a stack of the footy in Gunson. And he's going to go back to Tucker, who wants the switch. It's all been sealed up by the D-Lar defence. A dangerous kick, a pair of 56ers, a pair of debutants will battle over it. It's Max Miller, who did really well on Ferguson of St Kevin's. Miller got back in there as well. Ground level ball, Hodges, geez, that was clean. Got it to Winter in the blink of an eye. Ferguson's back to his feet, drives it long on the left, but he's missed everything. The eyes lit up, the debutant, the former APS captain, and it'll be Fisher who kicks it into the back pocket.
So, got it now at half-back, D-Lar. Kick's going to come back to Fisher here. Slowly working it out and towards the back flank, and that's one that's fallen at the feet of Carvalhos. So he's under a bit of trouble now. He's got to get around a couple of opponents, and that kick's got a lot of air on it, asking an awful lot of Dean Johns. Well, nice turn out of trouble there by Buffalo, so they've worked that out quite nicely. And then a high kick up towards the wing, right in front of us. And it was in the hands of Lingberg for a moment, and then it spills out of his grasp and goes out of play for a boundary throw in. Right in front of us.
Well, I think Angus Hart was just about in our lap. He actually, I hope he's all right because he's collided with our little commentary marquee, but he seems okay. We're being told by the photographer. No issues for Angus. He's made his turn of stuff.
Yeah, he makes his way back to centre half back. And it's, there's a push out against Stanton there, and St Kevin's will take the advantage with a kick inside 50, bounces off the chest of McKinnon, and it's still alive here in the forward line for St Kevin's. Strong tackle applied, no free kick, the umpire wave play on. Winter crashes through. What about the brute strength there? The hand pass comes back, and then a snap around the body from Richards in towards the pocket, bouncing ball. Leading in the race back to it there was Miller. He's caught, and it's gone out of play for a boundary throw in as Bruce, our tech, just tries to readjust the gazebo here to make sure Hart hasn't caused too much damage. We'll get a boundary throw in inside attacking 50 for St Kevin's.
I think that's Angus Hart 1, RFX Mike 0, unfortunately, approaching half-time. Thanks to Brucey for fixing that one up. We throw back in inside 50 as it's lived for this quarter for St Kevin's. Darmody's going to try and storm his way through. As Barnett, he couldn't quite hold on to the handball receive. D-Lar with numbers around it. They really should clear this out. Stanton, he had two options. He chose the third one. It might cost his team. Darmody sticks with it. His kick towards goal is floating across the face for another behind for St Kevin's. They've only kicked the 3. They're 10-3-63. Even 50-point advantage over D-Lar, 2-1-13. 24 minutes gone, second term.
Yeah, D-Lar, just no time and space down there. There's a lot of panic, boys. It's just some errant handballs here and there, and unlucky from Scott not to kick that one.
Filipovic drives the kick to right half back. Lingberg is his target. And his options are pretty dry down that far side, although he looks to have bitten off a nice kick to a leading target. So D-Lar just trying to control the footy, far side of the ground, slow play. It's in the hands of Stanton. This will go right down the boundary line. It's a bit of a nothing kick, that one, and out of play.
Just in the last sort of 3, 4, 5 minutes, D-Lar not having any confidence at all. They do have options. They've got those short 45s, they've got those inside. They're just wanting that long one down the line, just trying to play for safety a little bit at the moment, and it's not playing off for them. They just really need to take this game on. They have to back themselves and go for those things that got them in good stead in the first quarter.
So boundary thrown right in front of the interchange gates, far side. Reamer's front spot, tapped it down. Hodges crashed into Doherty, and we'll get another stoppage. right in front of our boundary rider Harrison McIlwaine. He's been all over the injuries thus far. Reimers slapped it back, although Cameron's got it now, weaves out of trouble, goes back with the hand pass, and now Buffalo slipped around a couple of opponents nicely there, straightens and then kicks long towards half forward. It's gone inside 50. Dimitri roved it, he was immediately caught. And the umpire will call for it once more. We'll get another stoppage just inside attacking 50 for D-Lar.
Just once again with Buffalo there before, he had options on the inside on the 45, but it's that 40-metre bomb kick so easy to defend for St Kevin's.
Reimers taps it down, although it's ineffective, and then Indovino just about, well, I thought he got a kick away. The umpire signalled holding the ball, so it's a free kick to St Kevin's to be taken by Tom Jock at half-back.
For Author Sport Victoria, Sam Cameron made his way off the ground a little while ago. Harrison McIlwaine, your old man near the bench. How is he?
He was in conversation with the trainer for a little while and he keeps stretching his jaw, so I'm thinking it was something to do with the head. I think he had a HIA, but he seems to be getting limber and ready to come back on. So
Good news for Sam, thank you Harrison. Tom Ferguson now with it at right half back for St Kevin's. He looks to his own defensive 50, decides against it ultimately and goes down the line in the Critchley direction. He went very early and probably illegally in truth, and it'll be taken away by Bowen, who grabbed the advantage for D-Lar and kicked it inside 50. It's going to be Hart with two hands to it, couldn't bring it down. That'll let Levi Young in for D-Lar, who's over the top of the footy. He's got three defenders to contend with. It did pretty well in the end, you've got to say. Handball from Shannon, wants Indovino, who's sort of kneeled up in the tackle, got it back in the Shannon direction, all under pressure this. Ferguson cleans up for St Kevin's at right half back, gave it to Gunson. And the Scobbers will come away a tumbling kick with no real direction or intention, just landed on the chest of Darmody. He had three D-Lar defenders around him, and it was only ever going to land in his chest. He goes inside, and he finds Drisky.
Hodges now at centre half back. They've completed the switch, going out wide for Jock. Doesn't find him. He's got to go and pick it up now and manages to do so. That's a bit of time to step inboard and try and spear a pass to Dimitri, who's in space between wing and half forward. Wheels and goes on the right boot, drives it deep into attacking 50. It spills over the back. It was almost there, an opportunity for St Kevin's. It's still alive for them. Miller, he's caught down in a tackle by Barnett. And we'll get another stoppage. Only about 15 metres out from St Kevin's goal here, looking to press home their advantage. They've already booted 6 goals in this quarter. Tossed up again, Stanton was there. The hand pass comes out to Hodges, who snaps. It's high. It won't have the distance. Fisher is there. He was the only one ever likely to mark it, and he does so last line of defence.
Fisher on world record pace for most possessions, I would imagine, for a big Dow defender.
He'd have to be up there. He kicks out towards the back flank. Gunson read it well in the air, took no chances and thumped it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
We only had 13 last week, Fisher, so I reckon he's probably up to that already. We've still got, say, 5 or 6 minutes left in this second term, all thanks to Bendigo Bank East Malvern, because we've seen 8 goals put on by St Kevin's.
So he's getting a fair bit of a look at it.
He's getting an unfortunate amount of it at the moment. Here's Hodges. He'll be tackled off it. That's strong stuff from Fraser Cameron. And back out of bounds between, probably at right half forward, you'd say, for St Kevin's. Good to see Fraser Cameron playing his trade. He's on the Gold Coast VFL list and played in round 1 against the Casey Demons, 13 disposals. Seems to be like a bit of a fill-in play when the Suns come down to Melbourne to play their VFL footy. It's thrown back in. Here is Cameron, he's run down from behind. Spent time that he didn't have. Mansfield's got him and calls to slow down the pace. There's a stack of numbers inside 50. He's just going to stick the football into the middle of the storm. Big leap came from Jones. Critchley around the place as well. D-Lar at numbers. That's that dangerous handball and turnover. Barnett got it away. Critchley's dispossessed, holding the footy. Good tackling from the D-Lar defence that has been under siege this quarter. We've got a player that we have no name for, the number 45 for D-Lar, who goes into the back pocket. We'll chase that one up momentarily for you. Here's Filipovic, left half back.
There's still just more of this slow ball movement from D-Lar. They've still got it though. Dean Johns now at centre half back. He's got Filipovic here. Effective enough. Kevin's are just up so well defensively for all the attacking play in this half. That kick bounced off the chest of Cameron. He's got time to gather it, straighten, and then try and find a teammate out wide. He does so on the wing. So it's been a lot of hard work, but they've got it to Buffalo now on the wing.
This is better by D-Lar. Much better.
So drives it along up the line. So nuts to the short kicking, Buffalo says. Boots it up towards half forward. And eventually trickles over the boundary line. Will get a throw in. And they can reset from here.
But you just notice from Filipovic in the back line there, just those little 45 insides, he's going to take the game on. That's what you want. You've got to play a little bit dynamic sometimes, especially when you're down by 8 goals. Dynamic over safe every day of the week, I say.
So here at half forward, boundary throw in. Stander coming over the top there of Remus to tap it down. Jock might have been caught high. Got the hand pass out regardless towards the boundary line. Dealer should be able to get it first. Here's Miller. He tried to step around an opponent. He did so successfully, but took the ball out of play, and we'll get another boundary throw in.
Author Sport Victoria, a team of 13 skilled Melbourne orthopaedic surgeons specialising in treating musculoskeletal conditions and injuries. I've just watched Sam Cameron walk into the rooms with a trainer beside him on the phone. So that, you'd assume, Hugo, could be a failed HIA and a day done for the number 43.
Absolutely. Clutching the jaw, there was a bit of a head knock, obviously, and we've got to be safe these days.
So 6 goals to zip this quarter for St Kevin's. They've taken the game away. Here's Delamitra at the back of that ball up. Flick it around. Centre half back to find Richards on the far side wing. Damashki has his foot to the floor in chase. Gave it to Barnett, did Richards, who now goes inside 50. Numbers forward of the footy. That was clinical to Cal Jones, who marks in the left forward pockets.
Just evident of the foot skills of Scob there, but smart play by Jones. He led up the ground, dragged his defender up, knew that it was coming in, knew what it was going to, running back towards goal.
So this would cap off just about the perfect quarter of footy for St Kevin's. They've put 6 goals 2 on to nothing. A 38 to zip quarter. This could make it 44, and Cal Jones second. From the left forward pocket, stabbed at the kick a little bit, didn't matter in the slightest. And the Scobbers have made a second quarter statement here in East Malvern. 11-3, 69 at half time. Dealer 2-1-13. They didn't score in that quarter, the home squad. It's a 56-point advantage to the Scobbers, Hugo. What a quarter of footy.
Yeah, they just flexed their muscle there, but speaking with Plugger before the game, he said he wanted to play a little bit faster, a little bit more attacking. Well, they did that quarter, didn't they? They played dynamic. There was nothing safe about that, but there was nothing reckless either. Every time they went for those inside 45s, they had numbers there at the ball as well. It just looks like there's 3, 4, 5 players extra on the field for St Kevin's at the moment, and that's probably a work rate thing as well. I think a couple of the young guys a little bit shell-shocked that quarter, looking for safety, not wanting to pick the ball up, not wanting the ball near them. But you're playing against the best, you want to try and challenge yourself against the best.
Halftime show coming up, all thanks to Tate Mitre 10, service-driven and supporting commercial, residential and handyman builders plus retail customers. We've got Director of Footy hit down here at D-Lab, Bill Tyson, and Scob President Paddy Mount. More after this.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Hey guys, it's Dylan Buckley here. Footy's back and so is Tackle Your Feelings round. As a proud partner of the VAFA, Tackle Your Feelings is ready to pull on the boots at your club this season to deliver free mental health training. In 2024, the program is available to the whole club. Coaches, players, the committee and everyone else who plays a role on and off the field. So be a champ for mental health this season. Email pranav@vafa.com.au. That's pranav@vafa.com.au to secure your club's spot for a Tackle Your Feelings workshop.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for one male and one female player, aged 20 years or under, who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45pm.
Half time in East Malvern, it's been all St Kevin's, especially across a dominant second quarter where they kicked 6 goals to D-Lars 0-0, 38 we've got 4 to 44. That scoreboard hasn't quite updated yet. So 7 goals to 44 to zip in that term, with Cal Jones putting it through after the half-time siren. It's a 56-point lead to the Scobbers after a pretty tough opening. Hugo Higginbotham, it was D-Lar who probably started the game. Their first 10 minutes, they were really strong. St Kevin's looked to get the ascendancy the back end of the first and the last 10 minutes and then took it away in that second.
Yeah, absolutely. Clinical display by St Kevin's there. The ball use around the ground, but what was really impressive was their transition as well. You know, D-Lar had their opportunities, got the ball down deep, and St Kevin's just pushed the button, found 4 or 5 hit-ups and movement to space. D-Lar didn't really have an answer for that quarter.
56-point leaders, St Kevin's. This is half-time, all thanks to Tape Mitre 10. A special guest, the D-Lar Director of Footy, Bill Tyson, has joined us in our commentary. I'll say commentary box, but that might just be added effect. Bill, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Paddy.
Lovely to meet you earlier
Wish I
today.
was a bit better than what we're looking at half-time, but apart from that, I'm well.
You are a little bit short. It was looking through the team list. Christian Algieri, obviously, with that great opportunity that he's got at Collingwood VFL. Your best and fairest winner last year, and then Jacob Williamson out there as well. But I've been really impressed with a few of your additions this year. Nick Buffalo and Rob Amendola have been super in the contest.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're good big-bodied mids, which was what we're looking for to come into A grade, and they've joined the team, and they're doing well for us. They're doing really well.
So, in my experience of the VAFA over the last couple of years, we haven't spoken much about D-Lar. The last time you were in Premier Footy before this year was back in 2019. What have you been up to since then?
We've been up to a lot. We've only got 3 players left from 2019 when we went down from A grade, Paddy. So we've had a complete change of our list, if you like, and we've spent a lot of time in the last 3 to 4 years getting ourselves what we call A grade ready, and also doing a lot of work around our under-19s and school programs, particularly to make sure that when we come back sustainably.
So, Bill, just you want to explain a little bit with the reconnection with the school that I know from personal experience that's happened, and that's absolutely flourishing down there. Some good assistant coaches among the 19s group, I hear, as well.
I heard a rumour.
But, yeah, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, no, sure, Pat. Obviously the school's pretty important to the lifeblood of our footy club, and we sort of had a look under the hood about 4 or 5 years ago and realised it wasn't as in good a shape as it needed to be. And the reality, if the school's sick, we get a cold very quickly. So we had to make sure we fixed up the flu and spent a lot of time, working with the school and getting the program right and getting the schools, football first mentality again. And more importantly, we take over and control the footy program at the school as a commercial enterprise. So we're now running the program from year 7 to year 12, and we've got full visibility of everybody in the school program. And more importantly, we've got a nice seamless flow through to the under-19s, which is what we're doing.
So with that as well, Nick Walsh, who's come on board for you guys, who's the conduit there and the director who works closely with yourself. Yep. He's been great there, and we're seeing the fruits of that in the 19s program at the moment.
Absolutely, Peter. Walsh has done a great job. He's what we call the head of future footy here at D-Lar, so he's absolutely the conduit between the school and the footy club and the 19s program. And, from the first time we'll have 319 sides coming in round 5, so we've got a young team called the Royals, which will join the Division 3 program in the under-19s. So, I think we're the only side in the VAFA, only club in the VAFA with 3 under-19 teams this year. So, the program's going really well.
I got to be there on preliminary final day where you get up over Old Trinity, one of the best games of local footy I've ever seen. But what struck me as something that was really remarkable is those rooms were raucous, right? Like everyone's going absolutely off their nut. The noise was fantastic. The song was sung with such gusto. And I remember watching Nick Hyland grab a chair and pull it down, and sat down in front of the playing group and all the crowd, and everyone went quiet in about 3 seconds flat. The respect that they have for Nick was obvious in that moment. Tell us a little bit about what he's done for the footy club.
Oh, Nick's been fantastic, Paddy. Look, he's just a really, really terrific coach, a great leader of our club, not just a club coach, but a leader of our club. He's been, coaching from the 19s through to the reserves and now into his 4th year in the seniors, and, he's grown particularly well into the role, and he's very well regarded in this club, and more importantly, he eschews good values right across the group, and the boys love him, and he sees the game very well between match day, but he also coaches extremely well during the week as well.
This is the halftime show, all thanks to Tate Mitre 10, service-driven and supporting commercial, residential and handyman builders plus retail customers. We're with the D-Lard Director of Footy, Bill Tyson. Let's talk about your year so far and the game today. How have you found A-grade?
Oh, it's been tough, Paddy. I mean, the results don't lie. We've had a tough couple of weeks, and we're having a tough first half of this game. But bearing in mind we're playing three very, very good A-grade sides, so we're under no illusion that it's always going to be a tough start for us, Paddy. But by the same token, we're learning a lot, and more importantly, we think we've got the scope to trouble a few sides as the year goes on.
Yeah, looking at your next four, you get tests with the Blues away, you get Old Haileybury away, and then St Bernard's and the University Blacks at home. It seems like a really tough introduction to A-grade, but I'm sure you wouldn't want it any other way.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're delighted to be here. We want to be here. We spoke about it, after the Xavier game, there were 17 boys that had played. That game was the highest standard of football they've ever played. So, it's a fast track to learning for our boys, but we're already seeing some green shoots in regards to that now. And, it's a tough start, but we're loving being back in A-grade, and more importantly, we want to stay here.
So with that tough start to the year, Bill, obviously the draw didn't help too much, but it's good to get them out of the way early.
Yeah.
The guys they're taking learnings. Obviously last week was a much better improved performance.
Yeah.
So is it going to be a little bit more goal-driven now in terms of realistically looking at the draw, target games, be specific?
Well, I think that'll happen organically anyway, but I mean, if you don't think you can win every game of footy you prepare for, you really shouldn't be in the game, really. So, we come every week thinking we've got a red hot chance to win. But I mean, by the same token, we're realistic about. We've played three very, very good A-grade sides that are well seasoned and deep lists. So we've just got to get better about making sure that when we get our looks, we make the most of it. So.
And we've got the rematch coming up soon from last year's grand final. That'll be one that the whole club's looking forward to.
Absolutely, we need to pay them back, Harley. They gave us a nice old touch up on grand final day, so we certainly owe them one. But they were very, 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 very good on grand final day, and they gave us a nice old touch up.
As I look at my team lists in front of me, I like to see who's played the most senior VAFA games of footy, and across both teams today, that's Sean Fisher, who's just turned 29, I believe, earlier this month.
Yeah.
Tell us a
looks
little bit.
older, doesn't he?
Well, he's had a stack of it in the first half. Unfortunately, it's been in his part of the ground a fair bit. But he just seems like such a brilliant player, obviously, such a competitor. But he seems such a leader for a pretty young team.
I know he's been terrific, Fish. Yeah. He's been a great leader of our club, and he jointly leads with Indovino, our other joint skipper. But he holds the back line together really well most weeks, and more importantly, he's terrific around the club during the week as well.
Yeah, Adrian's the other one I wanted to ask you about, because I believe the last time that St Kevin's actually won here, he was playing in that game in kick 4. And for reference, there were 3 St Kevin's guys who are still around today who were playing in that game, and one of them was the coach, Anthony Lynch. So
absolutely.
Adrian, he's been involved a bit higher up the ground as well, but he seems to lead your forward line.
No, he's terrific, mate. He's a terrific player. He's had a great career here, and he's had opportunities to go in other places for many, many years, but he stayed true and loyal to our footy club, and we love having him around.
So we just spoke about the age of some of the players there, Bill. Let's talk about the younger ones who are in the 19s. We expect to see a few of them come up.
Yeah, I think so. We were going to play one today, actually, but he had a cork calf and couldn't quite make it. But, we've got an appetite to play as many young boys as we possibly can, and the opportunities will be afforded to them. We've always had an attitude here that, if they're good enough and they're young enough and they're showing the right form in the 19s, we'll promote them. So we hope to see, hopefully 3 or 4 of them during the course of the next, 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep. So, just getting back to the game, so really good signs in the first quarter for 20 minutes of it. That's the last 5 minutes. You put that down to the age of some of the guys and inexperience?
Well, 2 things. That plus they're very good. I mean, as you said, they really clicked into gear in that second quarter. I mean, the transition, Peter, as you highlighted, they were very good around the ball, and they were clean. Most importantly, they were really clean. Their usage was clean, and they got good looks. And when they got their looks, they didn't miss them. So they're a good footy side.
Bill, I reckon we could talk footy to you pretty much all afternoon, but we will have to leave it there. Thanks so much for taking
pleasure,
time
Paddy.
out of half time.
Nice to be here. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the day, boys. Good luck.
All the best.
Thank
Bill
you.
Tyson
Thanks,
Director of Footy at D-Lar. He's going to be having a big year as D-Lar returns to top flight footy. A quick break, and on the other side of this, the third quarter.
VAFA Action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Hey guys, it's Dylan Buckley here. Footy's back and so is Tackle Your Feelings round. As a proud partner of the VAFA, Tackle Your Feelings is ready to pull on the boots at your club this season to deliver free mental health training. In 2024, the program is available to the whole club. Coaches, players, the committee and everyone else who plays a role on and off the field. So be a champ for mental health this season. Email pranav@vafa.com.au. That's pranav@vafa.com.au to secure your club's spot for a Tackle Your Feelings workshop.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for one male and one female player, aged 20 years or under, who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
11-3-69 St Kevin's 2-1-13 De La Salle. It was a second term. That's worth a watch on the replay on VAFA TV across the week from St Kevin's, who have asserted themselves on this contest to lead by 56 points at half-time in what would be their first win at this ground since 2017 in senior footy. Hugo Higginbotham is beside me, as is Matt Donald in the commentary box. My name is Paddy Grindlay. Second half ahead of us, Hugo. What can we hope for D-La?
D-La need to implement a change. And to implement a change, you need a solution. So I think the solution for this one is you've got to take away the time and space for St Kevin's, because their ball movement is elite. When they've got that 1-2 second bit of time and space around the ball, they use it really, really well. So that's the first thing. Second one is D-La need to park what's happened in that quarter then, just get it out of their heads, because that affects confidence. We know they're a young group. We heard from Bill at half-time. They're a young, exciting group. There's a lot of potential, but they need to get a little bit of confidence back in the way they play a little bit dynamic. Too much safe ball from them. Look, I very, very much doubt they're going to win this game, but you've got the mindset of one. Do we want to salvage an honourable loss here, or do we just want to go for it and just try and try and try and try and try? That's a lot of tries, I know, but that's what they need to do. They just need to try and implement that change.
So I think what you're saying, Hugo, is that they need to try.
Oh, they need to try.
Maybe they need a little put in a bit more effort, perhaps, as well. We saw the way that they played. There was two real contrasting sort of setups. D-La were very slow, ponderous, patient, cautious, but St Kevin's they were very fast and direct. I suppose, the question would be, how do you slow down that ball movement? Because that's really what opened D-La up in that second term.
Well, what's happening is that D-La players are losing their opposition player as the ball. They're coming like seagulls to a chip sort of thing. They need to get away from that, have a little bit of sense. One, can I affect this contest? No. If not, let's take away the next option from the Scott boys.
Around the grounds, all thanks to Munker. The University Blacks by 25 points over the Blues at Melbourne University Oval. It's old Brighton who've had a hell of a game over at St Bernard's. They lead 9-7-61 at 3-4-22. Third quarter underway in that game. Old Haileybury are doing it nicely over the Old Zaverians. Now, this is a story. 10-7-67 to 5-8-38 in the third term. A 29-point lead for the Bloods, the premiers of Premier B last year. Matt Donald on the call for the third quarter of this contest.
Reimers and Stanton to go at it. And in fact, neither of them do. But there's going to be a free kick going the way of Reimers, who was held out of the contest, so he'll get the opening disposal in the second half and hands it off to Richards. His run was terrific in that first half. Drives a kick inside, attacking 50, no mark taken. Doing well to sort of apply the tackle there was Gill. But we'll get a stoppage here at left half forward for St Kevin's. He kicked 7 goals to nothing in the second term to open up this advantage that they enjoy at the moment. Just up again, hand pass comes out. And then the kick from Ferguson, who was also impressive in that first half. High to full forward. Kerr running out to mark it. Couldn't do so. It's hit the deck. It's still alive. Hodges going in, although he was worried out of it. The hand pass came out initially. Here's Ferguson again. Looks to get the hand pass back out. Now they're in a bit of space. Kick from Andrisko across the face of goal. Fisher was there. He had a moment. He's got time to recover, though. Kicks it back across the face of goal. That works nicely. Mark's been taken by our mystery man. Well, he's not a mystery anymore because it's Fogarty who's got it. Tom Fogarty. So he put a name to the face. That's always good to see. Back to Fisher. Playing kick to kick in the last line of defence at the moment.
Your left back pocket for Fisher. Scoreboard end of the ground. Slight wind blowing towards us in the broadcast wing. He's called to play on. Didn't really know what to do with it in the end. Had to just give it to anyone. Did so to Max Miller on debut, who's just spiralled that one down the wing, and Tucker gives away a free kick of St Kevin's going the way of Indovino. Adrian Indovino, a veteran of this club. Nice looking kick. It'll end up eventually with Jamie Brooker, who was shouted out as a man who's likely to take mark of the day, and did so early in that first term by our man Hugo Higginbotham. Jock with the big spoil at centre half back, cleaned up by Ferguson of St Kevin's, who's had a stack of it in his first game of senior VAFA footy. Goes out wide, broadcast wing. Neutral territory where Barnett picks it up, goes back to Gunson. He's got options aplenty in the corridor. They were lining up in the middle of the ground. Hodges takes the mark, centre circles. Will advance it rather inside 50. Gets out the back. Fisher will track it down for Delay, who gets a handball received from Cavalis. Now he's under the pump. Darmity's got him by an arm. Fisher holds up in the back pocket. It'll be thrown up 10 metres out from St Kevin's goal.
Just noticing then, all the DLR players ran forward of the ball. That's why St Kevin's had those free plays in the middle of the ground.
Stanton jumps over the top and gets the tap down. Cleary kick out towards the back flank. No mark taken. A lot of numbers here for St Kevin's. Hart gets the hand pass from Winter and drives it back inside attacking 50. Fisher set himself to run at it. Didn't in the end. And now he's got it at ground level. He's caught. And we'll get a ball up deep inside attacking 50 once more for St Kevin's. Normal transmission resumes here in this second half with St Kevin's doing all the attacking. Flick back towards goal by Kerrs doing the forward 50 ruck work. It's a good smother there from St Kevin's and by Gunson, who looks to go in and apply the tackle now, but the boundary line beats all comers to it, and we'll get another throw in.
So Hugo, former coach of the year, premiership coach, what would your messaging be right now if you were Nick Highland?
One would be get as many numbers back behind the ball, crowd them, take away their time and space, and then when we get the ball in our hands, release to advantage. It's got to be to
Kerr
advantage.
grabs it out of the ruck almost contemptuously and snaps towards goal, but it's just offline, a minor score. 4 goals, 1 for Paddy Kerr. Now the first score of the second half, St Kevin's 11-4-70. D. La Salle 2-1-13, 3.5 minutes gone here in the second half.
Buffalo left half back down the wing. It's going to go a bit further than that, carried by the wind rather. It went over the back of Indovino and Seaton's got it, and it's coming back. St Kevin's through Richards, drive it to centre half forward where Winter holds on to a toughie. So he's 2 kicks from goal. Gunson wants it all the way on the broadcast side. He's ignored. The kick now inside 50 on Kerr's head. Fisher did well to spoil. The handball went in the Andriski direction. Yeah. His attempted snap, it's gone backwards, and it's an effective pass into the pocket after all of that. That is, well, not one for the highlight tape, but Walters has taken the mark on his chest. It's Jack Andriski, who usually plays his footy behind the ball. Wasn't quite sure what he was doing in the forward pocket. He's just put it up the chimney and it's ended up on the chest of Walters.
This could be one of the worst goal assists I've ever seen.
He'll take it though, man. Here's Walters' methodical approach. It is a goal assist. He loves it. Walters sticks it through. There's a fair bit of laughter going on in that St Kevin celebration. So Liam Walters, who was superb in the opening half, nearly found himself on the outer of this squad across the week, such as the depth that St Kevin's has. 63-point lead here for the Scobbers. D-La haven't kicked a goal since the early stages of the first term.
Isn't it funny in football sometimes? That was a kick that had no intention to go to that spot. They could have easily landed in a D-La player's breadbasket, but no, just Liam Walters on the end of it there, and he's having a really good day, really, really good day.
So St Kevin's moved to 12-4-76, 5 minutes into the third term, and it's already their highest score for the year. The danger signs for D-La. They've got to try and find something. They haven't scored since the quarter-time siren. Andriski going back with a flight, almost took the mark. Winter crashing through, hands it over to Jock. He's dispossessed. The umpire acknowledged that and pays holding the football. So D-La will get a free kick here at half forward. Filippovic's got it now. Wants to try and spear a kick inboard. It was a floater, and it's been turned over. Ferguson now. He is able to change his mind, come back towards us. Mansfield's got it. Kick up the line to Critchley. So they work this well out of trouble nicely here, St Kevin's. Critchley comes in board to Andruski again. Has this kick. That's a bit better. Across the face of goal. Finds a teammate. Seaton. And now Richards again at half back. Looks to kick over the top to Tucker. Seaton continued his run, but Tucker decides to go further afield with a kick towards half forward. Not a great kick, and Delar win it back. The hand pass comes over the top. Now get up towards the wing. The kick was smothered, and now trying to crash away through there was Buffalo. Gets past the man, hands it backwards, and then a high kick there from Cavalis up towards half forward. Big fly required. Oh, good use of the body there by Hart. Just too strong on that occasion, and he wins the ball back for St Kevin's.
Cavalis had 3 options on the inside of the ground, 25-metre hit-off, but he just did that long dump kick down the line again, and it's just too easy to pick off for St Kevin's. That's where a lot of problems starting for Delo.
Richards, he went to play on after marking. He used up time he didn't have. Indovino dispossessed him, wins the footy back for Delar, so the veteran. He's going to kick it towards Damashki, who is leaking towards left half forward, Sasha, but he takes the ball out of bounds. Didn't agree with the boundary umpire's call.
Players generally never do.
Tends to be the way.
Especially when they're going for goal.
Intersection of the 50-metre arc and the boundary line. I have liked Sasha Damashki. He just hasn't got up near him so far today. He's a sparky half forward. So he's thrown in 60 metres out. Winter at ground level, waiting with Doherty. It's going to be the latter who is going to usher this ball out of play again. So 2-1-13 Delar. St Kevin's 12-4-76, 63-point advantage over at Toorak Park. It's Old Haileybury by 19 points at St Bernard's College. It's Old Brighton by 46 over the Snow Dogs.
Joey, all right? Shall we send a message?
He might be in trouble, our man. We'll find out about that over the course of the afternoon, I am sure, Hugo.
I've heard he's done his top button up.
Oh dear, here's McKinnon intercepting mark. He goes to true centre half back. It's in the hands of Curtis Day, and that's where the options dry up for him.
Might have to sub him on. Day at centre half back.
He'll be wanting to.
Goes up the line. Critchley going back with a flight, although it's a good mark that's been paid. Still here at half forward.
It's this next kick, boys. Let's just see what they do here. Are they going to waste and just bomb it, or are they going to try and find a hit up here?
So St Kevin's have flooded numbers back, so they're just happy to be patient. Back to Day.
Better.
Who looks to Willingo, gets around his man, and then drives a high kick up the line to full forward. St Kevin's with all the numbers, but it's got out the back.
Just what I was saying, boys. They played a little bit dynamic there. They didn't do the long bomb down the line, which is so easy to pick off. They found the hit up in the middle of the ground. He actually had 3 options there, and then just had good, long, deep, dangerous kick to a dangerous spot, and simple chest mark. Should be a goal here.
And it's Paddy's boy, Sacha Damashki. We're going to get a good look at him now, Paddy. Your reputation's on the line. Damashki comes in, and he puts it right through.
Never in doubt.
And provides a celebration to match. And Delar get their first score since the quarter-time siren. 9 minutes into the third term, 3-1-19, still trailing St Kevin's 12-4-76. And that's on the Bendigo Bank East Melbourne scoreboard.
And let's just look at the way they did that, boys. They didn't panic, didn't do that long dump kick down the line, which is dangerous for them, but not dangerous for St Kevin's. They found the inside, hit up 45, took away from where the pressure was, and then got that long, deep entry to a dangerous spot. No backman likes the goals right behind them with the ball. They want to be up the ground where it's easy. You drop the ball, you're still a chance to clean up. So good goal there by Delar.
Just watched 2 toddlers make a mad dash to the middle of the ground and been picked up by their parents. I know that this Delar team is a young team, but this is ridiculous.
It's a $10,000 fine for each of them.
We'll get to Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary in just a few moments' time as Levi Young in the middle of the ground won it down at his bootlaces and a free kick going the way of Delar. So this is a nice little patch for them. Options pretty dry. That is just an up and under kick, and Liam Gunson has his name all over that. Damashki will come to try and close him down. Gunson marks. Let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary.
Yeah, gents. Notes from the coaches from their halftime addresses. For Scobie, just wants them to stay to task. There's a temptation when the scoreboard looks like this to take down 2 rotations, or a rotation and a half rather, obviously with Cameron's HIA, and then Walter's ankle is a bit proppy, so they're not sure how much they're going to get out of him, which makes it all the more impressive that he kicked that goal. And then for Delar, Coach Nick Hyland just really put it to them. He said you can show something, you can make this, you can play like quarter 1 or quarter 2.
Thanks for that, Harrison. Comprehensive as always. Bowen kicked it to centre half forward where it was held up, and now Young and Reamers will battle over it. Ferguson, second efforts today have been super, and a third. He goes diving after the footy. Hodges is there with him. It breaks through though for Delar. A hack kick towards the top of the goal square. It's in time. Free kick for a throw, and I reckon that's going to be Indovino's kick, 20 metres out directly in front.
I don't know, Hugo. That felt like it slipped out of his hands more so than a throw. How did you see it?
Look, it's a tough one for Scob to cop that, but that was probably realistically incorrect disposal, but it definitely slipped. There was nothing surer than that, but umpires never wrong, are they?
Absolutely. Never. Tell you what, 2 in a row here, the chance for Delar. It's exactly what Harrison McIlwaine was telling us. It was Nick Hyland telling his team, do you want to play like quarter 1 or quarter 2? So far, it's been a little bit more like quarter 1. Indovino slots it.
One thing, sorry, Paddy, I was just going to say one thing that I knew definitely there. As soon as the umpire blew his whistle,
yes,
Indovino went straight to the ball. He was not going to give that one to anyone.
He's on the board today. I was going to make mention of that. Matty wasn't sure if it was a throw or not, but in Indovino's mind, there was only one possible option. So this is good. Back down to 51 points. It got out to as many as 63 points here in East Melbourne. Let's see what Delar can do. They've looked a bit brighter from the stoppage, Hugo. Just some ball movement things they'd want to fix up a touch.
Well, but they're around the stoppage. They are moving now as well. They're very flat-footed before. But great tap by my ruckman there, Remus.
Remus down to Winter, who tried to take on about 3 blokes at once, and the 3 beat him. And we'll get a stoppage in the centre. He's certainly not afraid of crashing through packs today, Luke Winter. He's been one of St Kevin's best. Remus again taps it down to Hodges. He's caught by Filipovic. We'll have another go. Third time's the charm. Remus taps it down over their head there. Critchley ran onto it, gathered it, kicks towards half forward, bouncing ball. The race is on, and now it's Gunson who's got it at half forward. Looks to clip it in towards the forward flank. Gill tried to keep it in play, and it wasn't able to do so successfully. It'll instead be a boundary throw in.
Look, it was great defensive pressure by Delar around those repeat stoppages there, but it felt like something was going to break, and of course it had to be my man, just with that little deft touch out to space. He knew someone was going to be there.
Close one developing at Turak Park. The lead of Old Haileybury whittled down to 14 points. That one's going on VAFA.com.au if you're interested, but please keep us in your ears if you can. Lose Luke Winter, edge of 50, just tried to barge through a couple of tackles and did so effectively. That was superb. Back to Gunson from 65 metres into the hot spot. Who's a leaper for St Kevin's? It's a big fist. It can come the way, though, of Delar and Healy. He goes towards centre half back. It's a dangerous place to put the footy. Darmody is around the place of St Kevin's. Now it's at Dillamitru, who's gone all the way back towards the centre circles. He's brought down Dillamitru. And it's Filipovic, who has been superb with his tackling pressure today, Hugo.
Yeah, very, very good. And they've really lifted now, the Delar boys. They've got a little bit of fight in the belly, which is great to see.
Filipovic to Curtis Day in front of us, broadcast side wing. Flicks it into Buffalo, who's got a target right hand in Young. Back to Buffalo, inside 50. Wants Damashki, couldn't get him. Hodges cleans up, went to Dillamitru on his knees. Back to Barnett. That looked like it was a throw from Andruski. Matt Donald wanted it. Umpire said play on. Found Seaton. He's going to go down the line. A beautifully weighted kick. Finds a sliding Ollie Gill, who's back to his feet and running down the wing. One bounce, thinks about a second. Instead, bites off the short pass to Kerr. Beautiful movement from St Kevin's out of their own defensive half.
Long way from goal here, but you could just see that really good defensive mechanism by St Kevin's there. Very disappointing, that little entry by Buffalo there to half forward. It was a very high half forward too, which was not a dangerous spot.
It's a tough day last week against the Old Zavarians for Paddy Kerr. He kicked 0 goals for. He didn't take a mark, which is really rare for last year's leading goal kicker. And he was well held against Old Scotch. He's got off the chain a little bit today in round 3 from 55 metres. Paddy Kerr has sent it all the way to the line where it's been picked off by Bowen. No sense of occasion. Here's Bowden in the right back pocket.
So Bowden drives it up the line, and almost taking the mark there. Initially was Shannon. He got the hand pass out. Fisher had a bit of a fumble, and then Dillamitru swooped in, but the boundary line got in the way before he could make any meaningful progress, and it's out for a throw. And tell you what an effort that was from Kerr.
Tell you what,
was a fair kick from 55, and another metre would have had it.
With a little less wind, sorry Matty, I reckon he would have cleared it by 5 metres. That was a thumping drop punt.
No, he is on song today as last year's leading goal scorer with 4, and looking to add to it. The way St Kevin's have played for most of this game, it's unlikely that'll be his last opportunity. Grabbing it out of the ruck there Doing really well in getting the hand pass back there was Jones, although it's been turned over now, and D-Love will get an opportunity at half forward. There's space and numbers here. There's a free kick for a push, and it's going against Lingberg. Not much of a shove there on half, but enough for an umpire to deem it worthy of a free kick. Comes back towards Richards, who goes across the face of goal to Tucker, who's got it now on the opposite back flank. He looks to try and hit up Hodges down the line. He does. He's got time to move down the wing. He does chip a ball, looking for Critchley. Strong hands in front of Fisher. It's come out of his hands. Is he looking for 50? I think he might be. The umpire is not having any of it, though. A little bit of byplay between Critchley and Fisher.
It's a few old dogs just reintroducing themselves.
They're a long way from the goal square, those two as well.
Short again. So it's just slowed up here. And Tucker now up towards half forward. Kerr, he used the body well, but couldn't quite take the mark. And then a strong tackle there at half forward, and another stoppage on the flank for St Kevin's.
This is another display of St Kevin's smarts there, because Vila had some momentum there for a little while, and St Kevin's now just slowing it up, getting it back on their terms.
Darmody storms through the contest. He went the dribble kick where the drop punt would have sufficed, and it was cut off in the goal square and rushed through from behind. Sorry, Hugo.
Never been a fan of a dribble kick.
You and Jason Dunstall would get along just fine, I reckon. And that's going to be 50, I think, or some sort of infringement that's made the field umpire reset. So take two for Stephen Cavalis, who goes into the pocket. That's going to end up, it was a little bit tricky there for De La Salle. They'll end up kicking it down the wing pretty aimlessly, it has to be said. And happy to take this ball out of play is Burley. He nearly ends up in someone's lap with a little bit of assistance on the broadcast wing. So true centre wing then. Neutral territory. DLR 4-1-25. St Kevin's 12-5-77. Harrison McIlwaine's on the boundary for us today. He looks to be much better rugged up at the moment. Harrison, how are you feeling on the far side of the ground?
This jacket is my best on ground for today.
We can't award a jacket a pair of Skins compression tights. Apologies, H, but we will think about it. Here's St Kevin's from the stoppage. Gunson, right on the boundary, slipped over as he went to kick. Max Miller got him high, though. So the debutant giving one away right on the boundary line. Not too stoked about it. It'll be taken by Gunson. His eyes darting corridor, but he will end up going backwards right in front of us. So St Kevin's with a long switch and Hart.
And he goes back further again. This time Seaton. He runs his full measure, kicks it to Jock on the bounce. So now he's got to make a quick decision, Jock. He gets a kick away looking for Andriski. Good mark, going back with a flight. So St Kevin's have maintained possession. He wheels onto the left boot, Andriski, and he's got all on his own in the middle of the ground. There was Jones, who gets the hand pass away to Richards, who's caught, got it back to Hodges, back to Jock. They're doing this the hard way, St Kevin's, but they've worked it out nicely. Jock with a spearing pass to half forward, and a strong mark taken on the chest by Barnett, and he's turned his back on the goals and said, "Clear out, boys, I'm having a shot."
That's a training drill. That is an absolute training drill there. You could just see the transition from the low side of the ground. They were always going to do that. They set up. You could see the players moving to space. They knew exactly where they were going. They don't even have to look. They just kick it to the space and they know the player's going to be there.
So Barnett has kicked 4 goals for the season, managed 2 last week, but hasn't kicked one today. Coming into it, he was joint leading goal scorer for St Kevin's for the season. Love to add his name to the glut of goal scorers that St Kevin's have had today. He's launched it from outside 50, and it was never in doubt. It's cleared the fence, straight through for another one. Sam Barnett adds his name to the list. St Kevin's have goal number 13. 13-5-83 their score. De La Salle 4-1-25. We're approaching time on here in this third term, and it's been brought to you by Bendigo Bank, East Malvern.
You were right, Hugo. Great shoot. It got there quickly into the wind. He kept it low, and it was a dart, really, through the middle.
Absolutely. Great finish there. But let's look at this. So on the low side centre wing, backward release, then an inside 45 to half back, transition across the other side of the ground, just short of wing, half forward, straight into goals.
Beautiful stuff. It was clinical in truth. 44-point leaders, by the way, Old Brighton over St Bernard's as it stands. It's also a 24-point lead for the Blacks over the Blues at Uni Oval. The other games going on. Here's Gill. Kicks towards that far side wing, which St Kevin's like to set up from. Tucker is there. He's taken away by Gunson, who on that left dices it in the Gill direction, who grabbed it, played on, went to Hodges by hand. He goes inside 50, pins the ears back, and it's missed just. Fisher was going back, it collided with the goalpost with the extended arm. Luckily for him, the ball falling the right side of the goalpost as far as D-Lar are concerned. It's a behind for Hodges and St Kevin's. 59-point leaders, 13-6-84. D-Lar 4-1-25. We're into time on now. Third term, and that's a nice exiting kick for D-Lar, who will look to set this one up from the left half-back flank.
So the hand pass to Stanton. Now kicking board looking for Filipovic on the head of the smallest bloke on the ground, and you'd expect it's been turned over. Ferguson, the debutant, walks in, and for the second time today, a Pingett goal goes wide. A minor score this time. 13-6-84 now St Kevin's. D-Lar 4-1-25. They'll bring it back in quickly.
No options here for D-Lar.
Now it's been held up, so the kick's going to go down the line. And it's been turned over, so St Kevin's will get another opportunity. Kick in board, there's numbers everywhere. And they'll get a good look at goal here once again, the Scothers.
Is it just they need to work harder for each other to offer a lead-up option, even if it is that short 15-metre kick?
That's exactly what it is. You can see the D-Lar players are on the opposite side of the ground. None are rolling over. So as a result, you've only got 6 or 7 options. And with this full-ground defensive press that St Kevin's have, it's very, very hard to do unless you've got multiple players moving through the space.
So Callum Jones to take the kick. He's already got 2 today. And that one looks... Oh, he's pushed it. But I think it's just held the line. He likes it. It's a goal. So Callum Jones has 3. He's climbing his way up the leaderboard for St Kevin's as well today. Only behind Paddy Kerr now, who's got the 4 goals, and it's goal number 14, I think, to St Kevin's. 15 to St Kevin's. Did they get another one that I missed?
Oh, there's been a few.
There's been a few. 15-7-97 on the scoreboard. They've kicked that many, I'm losing count. And D-Lar 4-1-25. And that is on the Bendigo Bank East Melbourne scoreboard.
It's a little bit how it played out in the first quarter.
Now it is 14 on the scoreboard.
Maybe I was 14.
I never doubted you, Matty. I never doubted you.
Yeah, that's on me, that one. They might get their 15th if that movement out of the stoppage is anything to go by, because Delamitri evaded one tackler. Goes deep inside 50. Fisher is there, as is Barnett, who's crumbing and looking for a second. Jones wants 4. It came the way of Walters. He gets rid of Fisher. And then the outside of the right boot, Bananas. He probably... confused ambition with ability there on the outside of the right foot there. Liam Walters just misses to the far side.
Very, very close though. But don't you notice when he's on the ground, he inserts himself in every time. He's a very dangerous player, Liam Walters.
He did everything right, just couldn't quite check his kick. That's probably a bit harsh for me on Liam, who's been super today. You're going to get another shot though, St Kevin's. This has been a dirty 5 minutes for D-Lar. The exiting kick just laced out George Delamitri, who's on the arc of 50, 55 metres out. Wind blowing into his face a little bit. Not going to go for the shot at goal. Sticks it up in the air. Might be a mark though. Gill falling to the deck. Here's Max Miller of D-Lar. Short kick to Healy. And he's on his defensive arc now. Can they get some movement ahead of the footy, Hugo? It's a random spiral kick, and it will just be taken by Tucker, who read the flight of the footy mat superbly.
Well judged mark, because the ball was floating in a couple of players in front of his eye line as well, Tucker. So he's done well to take that just above the grass. Switches across the field to play to Hart. Looks to spear a pass onto the chest of Walters. Couldn't take it, had to go to ground. And now the ball is close to the boundary line, and there's going to be a free kick going the way of D-Lar for a hold. So they'll get it here on the wing. Hand pass over the top. Well, the hand pass was smothered there, and then it's been turned over. So this has been a really untidy period of play here for D-Lar. They've got it back for Filipovic now. And it is to get around a man. Straightens, kicks to half forward. Good mark, or no mark taken, but the umpire's wave playing on a kick inside 50. They've got over the back. And Trent Shannon finds himself in a bit of space, and he can line up for goal here.
Good play by D-Lar there. They didn't panic. That little shallow entry was okay, but good forward defensive pressure around there. Most surprising factor there, Adrian Indovino did not have a shot there because he was coming into the 50 arc, so very, very unselfish.
Yep, the bloke who loves to go for goal, passing it to the bloke who loves to set up the goals. Shannon hasn't kicked one this year, but he had 3 goal assists last week. So certainly can be relied upon to set up his teammates, but now has to take the responsibility upon himself to convert. Tough angle from about 45 metres out. It's pushed across the face of goal and has scored it over the line for a minor behind. Their first behind since that point on the quarter time siren. 4-1-25 D-Lar and St Kevin's 14-8-92. We've got that sorted out. Time on here in the third term for Bendigo Bank East Melbourne.
Hugo, they just look so much more potent defensively when Adrian Indovino is involved.
Yeah, every time he's around the ball, something dangerous is going to happen. One thing for sure, he'll never pass that off again. He'll have a go next time.
Gill unlucky to not have kept that one in right in front of us as Jock kicked it to him, so it'll be thrown in between wing and half back for St Kevin's. Margin at 66 points, the highest margin of the day, 67 a few moments ago. Around the competition, it looks like Old Brighton's doing it easy over St Bernard's. They have 54 points clear over at Toorak Park. It's a 13-point Bloods advantage. Reimers takes it out of the ruck. He's dispossessed. Umpire calls play on. Hodges soccers it forward. Filipovic is there. He evaded the Hodges tackle. Then his kick into the corridor was precise and accurate to Damashki. It's a good few moments for the D-line number 6, who's been impressive today. Damashki, you'll notice him because he's got two different coloured boots on. With the pink one that's on his right, he spreads it really wide. Nice kick.
Is that so he remembers which shoe to kick on?
Well, it's if the pink one's anything to go by, that might be the good one. Fraser Cameron marked. He wanted to go back to Damashki. It fell a bit short to Fogarty, who plays on. The switch complete around the arc pretty much. So this is a nice build-up for D-Lar. How's the entry? Kick inside 50 excellent. Is gorgeous to Indovino.
What you can see there is they didn't panic. They retained possession, just tried to get to a better position, waited for that option to open up. D-Lar players really well to clear the forward line out, and, Adrian Indovino coming through. No one's going to defend that.
There's better users in Filipovic and Damashki who set up just the changing of angles just slightly. Yep. And a kick into the corridor, Fraser Cameron getting it around, and eventually it ends onto the chest of Adrian Indovino, who's already got one in this quarter. Rarely misses a shot at goal. This no exception. So they've got 5 D-Lar. Margin back to an even 10 goals. 5-2-32. St Kevin's 14-8-92. Adrian Indovino with a pair in the third.
Going well there, but one thing, Filipovic never looks out of place no matter where he is around the ground, never panics. There's that nice little inside 45 there which started that chain there. And that can build a little bit of confidence for the players around him, which they need to do.
It's been a key quarter this from D-Lar. They've kicked as many goals as Scob, so 3 goals apiece in this quarter. We're well into time on, approaching 27 and a half minutes gone.
3-5 to 3-1 to be precise. So St Kevin's still winning the quarter, but D-Lar's certainly much more competitive in this third term. As the ball's tossed up once again, Reem is tapping it down. Mansfield was there, couldn't gather it cleanly. Cameron goes in, gets the hand pass out, and then the kick from D-Lar towards full forward, or half forward rather. Bounce off the chest of Brooker there, had to go in and get it again. Jock had it, lost it, got it again. Then he's caught, just about got a hand pass away according to the umpire. High appeals for a high tackle, but he's dragged along the turf there was Damashki. Don't see that too often, players being dragged along the grass. The umpire calls for it, and well, that's gone over his head. So he won't be too happy about that.
Matt, I think Adrian Indovino's got the smell of liniment in his nostrils, just trying to start a fight with Tommy Jock after kicking 2 third quarter goals.
So it's tossed up once again. Here's Ferguson once more, who's been excellent on debut. Kick towards the centre of the ground. They've won it back. Now it's one here by Day. He's caught. He dallied on it. He was gone. And things will open up now for St Kevin's. Ferguson with a hand pass across to Burley. And now Mansfield. Space everywhere. But the siren intervenes. Good smother as well. Brave smother. Conspired to prevent a late St Kevin's goal. It's all happening on the 3/4 time siren here at Waverley Oval. But the facts remain that St Kevin's are on course for a big win here. Looking to secure back-to-back wins for the first time this season. 14-8-92 St Kevin's. D-Lar 5-2-32. Do you want to go through the goal scorers, or will we do that when we get back?
We'll come back with the goal scorers in the fourth quarter action after this.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Keep up to date with everything that's happening around the VAFA by subscribing to our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, LinkedIn and TikTok. Join in the fun with the best pics, videos, stories and reels from around the competition. Send us your best and we might share them around the league. VAFA Socials. Search VAFA and VAFA Women's on your favourite platforms.
VAFA Action is back for 2025 and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45pm.
It's St Kevin's by 10 goals and East Malvern 14-8-92. They lead De La Salle 5-2-32. A 3-goal apiece third term. Much better from De La, but it's still St Kevin's who are well and truly on their way for a second win of 2025. The goal scorers, Paddy Kerr has 4, Cal Jones has 3. 2 for Sam Critchley and singles for Gunson, Mansfield, Walters, Gill and Barnett. For De La, 2 in that quarter for Adrian Indovino, who's been supreme across half forward for the men in blue and yellow. Damashki, Amendola and Buffalo all with singles. Matt Donald is beside me in the play-by-play position. And the great Hugo Higginbotham in special comments today. Hugo, a much improved showing in that third term from De La.
Yeah, it was. They calmed down a little bit. They didn't just bomb the ball away. They didn't have that selfish attitude of just get this ball away from me and just kick it up and over. It was much better.
We'll get back down to Harrison McIlwaine, who is in the De La huddle with Coach Nick Highland.
Is proof that you easily match it. Like, it's proof if we get do our things well, that it's a good look for us. So, the intensity. Like, you can't do anything tactically wise if you're not going to give great effort. You're not going to crack in. It was excellent the way we cracked in, and you cracked in for 30 minutes rather than giving us spurts of 10 minutes or 20 minutes. You gave us the full 30, so big tick, well done. The extra mid's working for us, so we're just going to keep going again. So, Doc, it'll be you this time, but whoever it is, just make sure that we're hunting in so we've got 4 mids around the ball at all times. Are we clear on that? Yes, mate? Yep. Absolutely. Composure, 50 from 70. So that's probably the best 30 minutes we've done it all year. So that last one for Indy perfectly, where we've taken the ball from far wing, brought it into Sash, brought it in, Indy, beautiful lead up. We get the goal out of it. Yeah. I reckon previous weeks we've just dumped it in there, got a turnover and it's gone back the other way. So perfect, that's working. Can we keep doing that for another 30 minutes so? Can we concentrate for another 30 with ball in hand and change some angles? Curtis, great quarter, mate. Really, really good stuff. This is what I'm asking for now, is 30 minutes of fight. First quarter you can do it, we lowered our colours second quarter. Let's be honest. To wrestle back some momentum and take it into next week. That's what we need. So, back show around.
So, Hugo, good messaging there from Nick around 30 minutes of fight, which is exactly what you called for.
Yeah, exactly. You must have heard, because they tried and tried and tried. So, no, but they played a lot smarter, a lot more composed as well, which is exactly what he said, but just using the ball rather than just disposing of it. And also, too, the intensity, yes, your skills, they'll come and go as the day goes on, but as long as you've got your intensity for those 100% of the time, that's what you can't negotiate with.
Yeah, it's great to hear him reference, I think, that bit of composure from Damashki and using the ball around the width of the ground to try and get that ball back inside 50 before they went to Indovino. So a big thank you to Nick Highland and De La for that access. We will momentarily get back down to Harrison McIlwaine, who has the coach of De La Salle beside him, Nick Highland. Back down to you, Harrison.
Effort and our intensity around the ball. Like, we lowered our colours in this, made us pay. So I was pleased with our effort and our intensity. So back some ascendancy and get the game somewhat in our turn for a large portion of 30 minutes.
You mentioned the extra round in your address. How do you think it's working for?
Well, I think that's certainly helped gain that ascendancy. We just felt like there was too much space around the stoppage in the second quarter, and they made us pay. So we're just trying to, condense that a bit more, and then use our extra around the ball and chain out a stoppage and try and get some looks forward of the ball.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks again to Nick Highland and to Harrison McIlwaine, our three-quarter time huddle reporter. Interesting stuff in there for you, Hugo?
Yeah, the one thing I noticed there, they're calling about that extra around the ball, so rolling the half forward up to play as an extra mid, and you'd probably notice that as well, where Scobbs just haven't had that time and space around the contest. Great tactic, and it's obviously paid off that quarter as well, because you've those 50-50 balls, you've got that extra number there, a lot more pressure, you're a chance of one, repeat stoppages, which we did see quite a bit that quarter, the repeat stoppage, and then getting that extra to use the ball as well. So yeah, good ploy, it worked well for them.
Three-quarter time huddle report, Matt, for La Tosca, authentic gourmet pasta for Melbourne.
Just one, Hugo, they were talking about the composure as well going inside 50 now, and sometimes they've dumped the kick long inside 50. I mean, I'm not sure, but I would suspect that when you're struggling to get the ball forward, there's a bit of a temptation just to take the field position, just get it in there. So how difficult is it to maintain that composure going forward when you don't get many opportunities to go inside 50?
Oh, look, it probably indicates the age of the side as well. They're young guys, they get fired up, they get carried away, and they think they've got to win the game off their own boots. So it'll come with a little bit more experience. It also comes with a bit of communication amongst the players as well, just to know you've got that 1 second extra where you can find that option or that movement that you need to deliver the ball to, rather than just bomb it long.
So we'll start the final term here. It's St Kevin's with all the aces as we turn for home, and they'll look to get the clearance here. Hodges over to Jock, who's run off the back of the square once more. Lovely hand pass onto the running Ferguson, who spears the kick inside 50. No mark taken. Walters was there, looks to tap it back towards goal, and that he couldn't, but then the pressure comes, and we'll get another stoppage. It will be tossed up inside the forward pocket here for St Kevin's. More slick ball movement out of the middle. Look to ram home their advantage here in this final term. It's a big lead for them. Tossed up, trying to crash through, doing well. There, the hand pass comes out from Fogarty, and then a high kick out towards the wing. Should favour St Kevin's here, and it does. And in the flesh, a few metres away only from Hugo Higginbotham, Hamish Remus takes the mark and comes back inboard to Tom Jock.
Love at first sight just then. Goodness gracious, got very strange in the box for a moment.
I think our eyes connected there.
Gunson's got it, somehow found a bit of space on the half-forward flank, and kicking a bit from goal, so he sets it up to the hot spot. The big fly's flied, hits the deck, it's alive all of a sudden. Barnum with the tackle, and the umpire calls for it. We're at full forward here for St Kevin's, only about 15 metres out from goal.
7-point margin at Toorak Park. The Bloods' lead has been whittled down by the Zavs. That game is live. That's going to be a great finish over on vafa.com.au. A second successive stoppage here, deep in St Kevin's territory. They were well on their way. With Delar, though, instead of taking away with a bit of clean stoppage work and a kick towards us. Broadcast wing side and a foot race. Gunson is there for St Kevin's. He's got Curtis Day ahead of him, who has the football and evades him beautifully, does Curtis. The kick down the line was hoping for Levi Young, who is charging after it. Will get it on the bounce, flicks it on. Angus Hart's with him now. Here's Young, did well. Picked it up, just hacked it blindly, though, in the end. Damashki caught behind. Pulled up sore.
I think he has.
He's still after it here, Sasha Damashki. Now he's hit the ground and he's clutching at a calf. Hopefully just a cramp. It looks like it might be for Sasha, who is lying flat on his back, getting it stretched out as there's a stoppage at centre half forward here for Delar.
It looks like he's cramped on the blue boot side.
Get a pink for hot, blue for cold. He does look a little bit cold at the moment. Sasha Damashki, who is still stretching out the calf, not looking $1 million at all. We'll get another stoppage here as Seaton and Indovino tie each other up.
So it's at half forward here for Delar. Stanton tapped it down, although Walters got it out to Ferguson, who's tucked up against the boundary line. Wheels back into the field of play, looks up the line for Barnett. Or Dean Johns coming in with a strong spoil, knocked it forward. It's still alive. Ferguson again in there. Couldn't get hands to it. Delar emerged, and a high kick towards goal there from Amendola. And there's a whistle here in the marking contest. Which way is this one going? It looks like it's going to go to Delar. Free kick to be taken by Levi Young.
This would be a nice moment for Levi Young. It would be his first goal as a senior Delar player. Sacha Damashki, he's running like he's got concrete in his shoes at the moment. We're hoping it's just a calf. We did have a runner come out to him and feed him pickle juice stat, but he just doesn't quite look right. So he's just coming off the ground. We'll have more with Harrison McIlwaine in a moment.
4 games for Sandringham in the VFL last year, 9 for Noble Park in the EFNL for Levi Young. His first game today for Delar, and he puts it through. First goal of the final term going the way of Delar. 6-2-38 their score. They still trail St Kevin's 14-8-92, and that's on the scoreboard for Bendigo Bank East Malvern.
Two things there that were really good. Curtis Day on this wing out here. The ball was kicked to space in front of him. He just moved up to it, got it down to, I think it was down to the big fella there again. But the extra of Delar around the clearance work there, you can just see that come into play with that lovely entry and a lovely finish by Levi Young.
Harrison McIlwaine's on the boundary. How's Sasha Damashki doing?
He's okay. It's a pretty colourful language. He just said that he's cramping with every step. But yeah, it is just cramp, nothing more sinister than that.
That's good news. If it is just cramp, it was one of the worst I have ever seen. Here's Filipovic, who has been so tidy. His kick, though, it burst through the hands of his charging forward. So the opportunity dissipates. Jock's on the bottom of this contest at centre half back. It eventually comes by Amendola. He's going to be tied up by Seaton and ran over the top of. Seaton wins himself a free kick for holding the footy. Back at full time. Scob duties this season. Here's Richards down the wing. They've worked it nicely. Critchley, a long way from home, puts it high in the Jones direction, who got a big leap towards the footy, couldn't bring it down. Blue and yellow numbers as far as the eye can see. A nice crossing kick today, who's been good after half time. Nice kick into the corridor. This is good from Delar. They've moved the ball nicely all the way up to Young in front of us. Broadcast wing. Just tucked in behind it. Now the kick into the corridor is a bit of a floating shocker. It might get through in the end. Reamers with a nice tackle, though, will force the turnover. And then the stoppage. So St Kevin's tie up the Delar movement in the middle of the ground. Hugo.
Excellent by Day there again. He's inserting himself into the contest here, but he looks very composed.
So it's Reamers and Stanton. Reamers won it down. That's Winter trying to crash through. And he can't. Ball up.
Led with the face there, Lukey Winter.
He goes where angels fear to tread, Luke Winter. He is as tough as they come. A core part of that St Kevin's engine room. You expect he'll be so again in 2025. That's a big hit as well. And it's jarred the footy loose. Ferguson running onto it. He's got better as the game's gone on, Ferguson. Looks to spear a pass up the half forward. Oh, the foot skills, they're terrific. Critchley didn't have to break stride, and he wheels and goes now. Straight on the right boot. Looks to hit up Kerr at full forward. Almost had it. In fact, it's Darmody who's taken it on the second attempt. Good strong mark from Jack Darmody. And he'll look at his name to the glut of goal scorers for St Kevin's with a major here.
Just noticing Fraser Cameron in the middle of the ground there, still getting up after that hit. That was a big hit, boys.
It's laid out by Darmody, who's then put on the defensive pressure, then got inside 50, made himself an option, and gets on the end of this for a chance at goal.
This indicates the work rate of the guys as well. Like you said, he was up in the middle of the ground with that big hit. And that takes a bit out of you, even when you're giving the hit as well, to work back there. And that was a 1-on-3 mark there, so very impressive.
3 goals last week for Jack Darmody. So he said, hasn't found the target today. Oh, and he sprayed that one wide. No, he still hasn't, heard someone say. Minus score for Jack Darmody, 14-9-93. St Kevin's, Delar 6-2-38. 6.5 gone here in this final term at Waverley Oval.
Around the grounds for Munker, it's a 49-point lead for Old Brighton over St Bernard's. Old Haileybury clear by 7 points of the Old Zavarians at Toorak Park. And it's University Blacks by 3 straight kicks at Melbourne Uni Oval over the University Blues. The kick is wide, out towards the far wing, and Levi Young for Delar. It goes out of playoff hands. So 6-2-38 Delar, 14-9-93 St Kevin's. Margin got out to as many as 67 points, but Delar have done a good job, especially a fortnight ago against Old Scotch in the last quarter, where they were down by 50 points at three-quarter time, but won the final quarter, so they'll be aiming for the same result here today. Reamers to do battle with Stanton. Fell short of the 2 rucks, a whistle on the play. Free kick picked out. It's going the way of St Kevin. So Reamers, Hugo's man.
Yes, it was there all day, that free kick.
He's been there all day as well, which is why you like him so much. Went to Richards, who goes inside 50, closing his Bowen. He did well on Kerr. He's had a defensive role today, Paddy Bowen. I've seen a lot of him in the ruck in previous years. 20 games, 11 goals in 2024, but he's had a nice job to do on Paddy Kerr today. Out of bounds, left forward pocket for St Kevin's.
So I think Delar have thrown another extra up at the contest now, so they're playing with a traditional 4-man forward line, make it a little bit hard for the boys down there, but that's why we're going to see a lot of repeat stoppages now. They just want to lock it up.
So ball tossed back into the field of play. Stanton got the tap down initially against Kerr. It's come out to Darmody, got the hand pass out to Dillamitru, who gets on the right boot, snaps towards goal. It's going to land in the pocket. Walters getting after it. It was held without it, Walters. Umpire Wade play on. It's come to Ferguson. It's been pushed out of play. Want to head down to the boundary line injury update for Author Sport Victoria? No, we won't do that. Okay. Thank you, Paddy. Oh, he's not there. Okay.
Bruce is just having a cup of tea, so
okay.
we'll have to wait for Harrison.
Well, I want to do that because there's a player's line flood and he's back for D-Lar, and I know Harrison will be all over it. So just wanted to get an update on that one. Meanwhile, back at the footy, Darmody was taken high and will get a free kick. Identical spot to where he missed from a few moments ago. We'll see how much he's learned.
I feel for our man Brucey, because the moment he goes to get himself a cup of tea is the moment you want to throw it downstairs. He's been manful in his battling today, as has Jack Darmody, Hugo, who's fought superbly.
He has. I actually think Bruce has gone to the bar.
Just wait till full time, Bruce.
Exactly.
So take 2 for Jack Darmody. He kicked 3 goals last week, but he hasn't kicked one today. So we'll see how he goes here. 45-degree angle, 35 metres out. That kick looks better. Oh, he's hit the post. I went too early. Just shaved the inside of the goalpost. He's getting closer though, Jack Darmody. That's the good news. 14-10, 94 St Kevin's. D-Lar 6-2, 38. 9.5 gone in this final term for Bendigo Bank East Melbourne.
I've always thought you should get 7 points for hitting the post. You know how hard that is? You can try and kick it 10 times. You wouldn't be able to do it.
What if you hit both goalposts? Because that has happened.
Well, you're 14.
Yeah, great minds, I think. Buffalo's turned this over outside of defensive 50. Well, hasn't even quite got outside of the arc from our position, so St Kevin's peppering at the moment. Looks like Critchley, who's going to put it back inside. No, there he is, Critchley on the end of it in the forward pocket. Just finding himself some room. So an opportunity for his third of the day. Big Sam Jones has got 3, Kerr has got 4, the rest singles. Critchley sitting on 2. He'd enjoy this one. He played a lot of footy, Hugo, behind the ball last year. He typically plays full back, but with the departures of Nick Singh and Lockie Faruja, they had a bit of an opportunity to make a bit of a different look of it behind the footy. Angus Hart's gone down there, and Critchley swapped to up forward. So from the pocket, he looks a natural, does Big Sammy Critchley. Drills the drop punt, does the 31-year-old. His 115th game of senior footy. He's now up to 27 senior VAFA goals, 3 of them coming today. He joins Jones with a triplet, and St Kevin's have cracked the ton. 15-10-100. D-Lar sells 6-2-38.
Yeah, that all resulted as an unfortunate turnover from Buffalo, who's been very busy all day, so we'll let him have that one. But Critchley, yeah, that move forward, it pays dividends because he works up the ground very high as well. He's taken a lot of ball around the middle. He's just such a strong, experienced player too, and nice to see him pop up for that one as well.
So they've brought up the ton, St Kevin's, for the first time this season, and even 100 points. A 62-point advantage they hold over D-Lar now. We've just ticked over 11 minutes here in this final term. We'll do it again to the centre. Stanton comes over the top of Reamers to win the tap down. Although Winter was there, got a hand pass away. Day swooped in. Now Hodges is there for St Kevin's as well. Winter once more. Hand passed it to Buffalo. Don't know what was going on there. And then a kick into the forward line, although it's been turned over. Well read here by St Kevin's, and the kick comes out looking for Gill, who marked it in front of Dean Johns. Sinowing. And now the play is held up. It's called to go. Gill, so he does with a high kick up the line. Coming in from the side. Nicely marked in the end by Healy, who's shown his aerial prowess at both ends of the ground today. And he goes short to the debutant Miller.
Struggling for options here.
He's called to go now, Miller, so he does go short. Looks to try and hit up a lead. That works to Brooker, who's also taken some nice marks today, Brooker. Now he's called to go by the umpire. He drives a kick up towards the half forward flank. Numbers favour St Kevin's here. And another strong mark has been taken. This time it was by Seaton, who goes across the ground. They'll look to complete a switch here. Hart out to Richards. And he's going to come back to Hart, who's got it at fullback.
I think, Hugo, D-Lar would be better served if they weren't kicking it on Sasha Damashki's head all the time down the line.
Yes, well, he's the smallest man on the ground, and a 40-metre kick on his head's probably not helping him out too much, but they've intercept marked really, really well today, St Kevin's. In fairness, they've had it kicked at him that way all day.
Gill on the broadcast wing, his kick was tipped through on its way to Jones. He gave it to Gunson, now to Barnett, and they are in. Inside 50, the kick beautiful to Kerr, and he holds on to it. Interference coming from Filipovic. But Kerr will get a shot at his 5th. 40-degree angle, you'd say, and about 42 metres out here.
Just the running in waves on display there by St Kevin's. They have been relentless with that. and their foot skills have been excellent, but they almost handball the ball to a space where they know there's going to be a player, and they move the ball very fast. I know Plugger was a bit disappointed with the speed of ball move the last couple of weeks, so he'd be delighted on this game after quarter time. After you have to give him a nice little Plugger Lynch spray, which has paid dividends.
Gives them a bake like few others, and it's worked for the Scobbers, and Kerr now has a handful, up to 5 for the big fella. Leading goal kicker of last year after a little bit of a sputtering start to his season before Easter. He's underway in earnest, up to 16 now. St Kevin 16-10, 106. Dealer 6-2-38. And while we're on the subject, let's go around the grounds for Munka, because the University Blacks are 5 goals clear of the Blues. Low scoring contest leading 54-24. Over at St Bernard's College, it's Old Brighton 14-12-96, leading the Snow Dogs 6-5-41. So the Tunners up by 9 goals, 55-point leaders. Over at Toorak Park, it's still Old Haileybury, though that game is getting tighter every time we look at it. 11-9-75 the Bloods. They lead Old Zaverians 9-13-67 by 8 points.
So Remus with the tap down. Gill came out to meet it. Now Winter applies the tackle there on Buffalo. But we get a stalemate, and the umpire will come in to toss it up again. In fact, that was actually on that occasion, that was Jones who punched that one forward, taking a turn in the ruck. And a strong tackle there, this time by McKinnon, and he gets the free kick for holding the ball. They wanted to take advantage, D-Lar, but the umpire said no, we're going to come back here. McKinnon's going to take his kick. Dave was looking for the hand pass around the corner. He's going to get it now. Looking like Harry Sheasel, number 3 out there. Finds a target at half-back. Fogarty. And he switches it across to Dean Johns now at right half-back. Comes off his mark and goes short. So they're still happy to persist with the patient ball movement here, D-Lar. It served them well at times today. Now they'll go with a long kick down the line. Coming over the top there was Young. He brought it to ground, didn't try to go for the mark, and I think he's copped a whack in the eye as well in the aftermath. Well, in fact, no, that's not him. That might be Bowden, rather. Regardless, we'll get another stoppage here on the wing in front of the interchange gates. Coming over the top there with the tap out was Johns. Winter caught by Young and holding the ball. So free kick to Levi Young.
Good tackle by the big man there.
He's got the corridor if he wants it.
This is better.
So Curtis Day, Critchley, he went for a diving effort, just couldn't get hold of the little man, and Day goes to centre half forward, turns it over though. Gunson just comes storming out of centre half back, spreads it real wide in the direction of Critchley. He's got McKinnon to deal with. Young just came lumbering in and cleaned him up. Forced the ball loose. Dealer playing next to the boundary with Buffalo. Has got Winter on his hammer, Richards rather. But back to Day, now to Young. He's met solidly and taken to the deck. Let's get down to Harrison McIlwaine on the boundary. What do you got for us, H?
It was Fraser Cameron on his back after that heavy collision on the broadside, on broadcast wing there. He's getting some attention to his shoulder and neck regions. I was suspecting whiplash. He's back out there now, so all good.
Good news. Thank you very much, H.
There's another player down.
Another one down.
Buffalo.
It doesn't look great for Buffalo, who is rolling around on the ground. And Curtis Day unhappy with Cal Jones about the treatment there. It's Buffalo on his haunches. The trainers with him.
Harrison, did you see what happened there? That wasn't too far from you.
I actually didn't. I'm sorry.
He's back to his feet anyway, so always the brutal honesty with our man Harrison McIlwaine. Here's Dealer off the back of the contest. Lunging tackle came late and it might have affected the kick just a little bit because Gunson's picked it up. Just has time to stop and prop and sits it in the gill direction. Fogarty there for Dealer. It evaded them both. Now inside 50. So Kevin's looking for a 17th. Big tackle laid, but Darmody not rewarded with the free kick. He'll go again. Ties up Dean Johns. It'll be thrown up. Sorry, Hugo.
Sorry, St Kevin's forward defensive pressure all day has been absolutely elite. Just the tackling and the intensity there as well. Very, very impressive.
So that time it was Stanton down to Cameron, who is back on the ground as Harrison mentioned. Good to see him out there. Back across to Miller. Shown some signs, one of the two debutants out there today. He kicked not his best, but it's all right for D-Lar as they maintain possession. What's going on here? Did that ball stay in play?
Bit of downfield free kick.
Maybe a downfield free kick for D-Lar. So they'll continue to keep the ball. Not a great kick for Cameron or his back. Mansfield coming over the top. Umpire Wade play on, no mark taken. Jones with a hand pass back to Dillamitru. Now Mansfield's got it. He gives the hand pass across, and now the kick inside. Great 50. Kick. Beautiful onto the chest of Paddy Kerr. And he can line up for half a dozen.
I'll tell you what, if you're trying to give Paddy Kerr an avenue at goal, Hugo, that's how you do it. He had the leading lane wide open.
Yeah, they do that very well, St Kevin's. They know what's coming there, so the players move out, and you wouldn't want to be a player coming backwards into that one either when he's coming out like that.
No, get into the hole at your own peril,
yes.
I think.
Yes, exactly.
Paddy Kerr on song today. As Paddy said, sluggish start to the season, but he's come back in fine fettle. He's up 5 already. He's directly in front. He kicks from 45, and the goal umpire did not move. Half a dozen for Paddy.
Might have just got himself into the votes there, boys, I think.
Might have just won himself a pair of Skins compression tights, I reckon, for our player of the day, who we'll be speaking to in the moments after the final siren. There's been a few competitors, I think, for the pair of tights, but I think Paddy just might have kicked himself over there with his 6th.
Yeah, I think 6 always gets you on the podium at the very least. He's got some competition today, but tell you what, it's going to be hard to knock off the perch with half a dozen.
Well, Remus has been very good.
He's been very good. Who's deciding on the player of the match? Because if it's Hugo, I think it's. I think that was decided 10 minutes in.
I know who it will be.
No. I'll be very fair.
So it's a 74-point margin at this game, but it's getting real close at Toorak Park within a kick now. Old Haileybury by 2 points, 11-9-75, leading the Zavarians 10-13-73. Dying stages of that one, of course, because we have the later game today, so we'll keep you across the results. There's a free kick going the way of Scobb, advantage taken. And then a subsequent tackle laid by Doherty. He's going to win it back. Brings down Winter. So that extra mid is Nick Highland flagged to us in a three-quarter time huddle report. And now it's in the hands of Carvelis, who recovered after looking sore early. Goes down that far side of the ground. Hodges with it for St Kevin's. Waxes with Al Richards, who's been great off a wing. Might want it back from Mansfield. Mansfield's eyes were inside 50 because Paddy Kerr is having a game, but Fisher knocked it away from him. Inside 50 still for St Kevin's, but now rebounded. It'll be in the hands of Bowden. On the right foot, kicks into the corridor. Was hoping for Filipovic. It was hopeful to say the least. Mansfield was there, as was Winter. It'll be tied up in the centre circles, though Remus has gone a touch high. So D-Lar will continue to push it forward.
And they'll do so right in the centre of Waverley Oval through Filipovic. Gets the hand pass to Cameron, who's cruising past. Wrong way, go back. Has to come out wide to the opposite side of the ground. Kick towards half forward. No mark taken. It's hit the deck. Shannon gets the hand pass out. And now Miller looks to find a teammate inside 50. Oh, that should have been a free kick to Brooker. It was. He got hands to the football, was taken out of the contest. And the umpire picked up on it, and he's paid the free kick. So Jamie Brooker will line up for goal.
This is the advantage of kicking to a 6'5" forward target instead of D-Lar kicking to a 5'5" forward target all day. So very, very hard to defend against the big man, and using the right spot front, so that's shot on goal.
Putting it on the head of their tall targets, a new strategy that they seem to have uncovered. We'll see if they persist with it in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, Jamie Brooker hasn't kicked one today. He's just got the 1 goal to his name for the season. So a chance to double his season tally here, Brooker. Not a difficult kick. He comes in on the right boot, but he has pushed it wide.
I think it's
got through. Oh, the goal umpire, I thought, signalled for a minor score, but no, it's just held the line. And it's a goal for Jamie Brooker, so he's got his first. And D-Lar have got their second here in this final term. 7-2-44. St Kevin 17-10, 112. And this is all on the scoreboard for Bendigo Bank East Malvern.
Tell you what, off the boot, Hugo, it didn't look like it was going anywhere near the centremost uprights from Brooker, but it doesn't matter how you kick them.
Just that you do.
No, just rather unorthodox. They don't generally spin sideways, but it went through, so that's all good.
You're right. So back to the middle, and the 26-minute mark at Toorak Park. Scores a level, 75 apiece between the old Zavarians and the old Haileyburyans.
Oh!
50! Critchley, what's he doing up there?
Don't worry about Critchley. What about the entry from Ferguson? What about the ruck work from Remus to Ferguson to Critchley? That's a play of the day right there, Paddy.
It just about might be, and it also might be a mark of the day contender, all thanks to Munker, because Critchley, the 31-year-old, or the Tosca rather, mark of the day for the Tosca, authentic gourmet pasta for Melbourne. Critchley getting up high onto the back end, snaring one in his hands. He's got the opportunity for a fourth. Big Sam, no issues.
And they'll love that tonight. Critchley has 4, Kerr has 6, Jones has 3, and St Kevin's just continuing on their merry way.
There's not really a stat for this, but this has been a masterclass in centre clearance efficiency from St Kevin's today, because they've won the ball out of the middle a lot, but they haven't just won it out of the middle. They've won it and they've gone straight line up the ground, direct to full forward, and they've got countless goals out of it. It's been a really dominant display out of the centre. It really has.
Yeah, the kid Ferguson in his first game, he's been very, very impressive, and he looks like a 50, 60 game veteran out there. He's holding his own. He's making the plays, and look, that by shoe there, that's a golden boot, boys. That one. Watch for that in the years to come.
And around the grounds for Munka, and we have a 1-point advantage to the Zaverians. 28 minutes gone in the final term. 10-16 to 11-9. It's all happening over there. There can only be seconds left in that match. Meanwhile, back of this game, Buffalo's taken in a tackle by Dillamitru and will get a stoppage. So I don't know what sort of margin Haileybury had at one point where their biggest lead was.
Cleared by at least 5 goals.
Yeah, so they've reined them in, old Zabs, and they've got the barest of margins in their favour now with a 1-point lead. So we'll keep an eye on that as that game reaches its conclusion. It's still in dispute here in the centre of the ground. The hand pass comes out indiscriminate towards goal for St Kevin's. Winter throws it on the boot inside, attacking 50. Fisher's going to lead Kerr to the football. He was not able to gather it cleanly, does now, close to the line, tries to keep it in play, does so effectively, gets the hand pass across to Bowden, spears a kick up the ground towards the wing, no one able to take the mark. Burley was there along with Young, and neither can keep the ball in play. It trickles over the boundary line for a throw in.
So our Skins player of the day wins himself a pair of cutting-edge Skins compression tights, all thanks to Skins, the pioneers of sports compression. Do we write Paddy Kerr's name in?
Oh, I think we have to. It's had to be something very special in the last few minutes for Paddy not to get that.
So Paddy Kerr with 6 goals, our Skins player of the day. He might have a chance at a 7th and maybe even an 8th as this game continues on. We'll be catching up with him shortly after the final siren. Harrison McIlwaine will have him after the game ends here at Waverley Oval.
So it's come ball tossing back on the wing. Richards to Dillamitru, back to Richards, gets the hand pass over the top. It's been cut out. Day gets across, gets a hand pass forward. And it's here on the wing for D-La. They'll look to try and pursue it forward. Bowden was pursued by Dillamitru, but they've still got it at half forward here now, D-La. Kick out of play, goes out for a throw. We might need to get a sponsor that will provide us a pair of matching boots that we can give to Damashki.
I actually think he enjoys the non-matching nature of it all, but he's certainly, it's not affected his pace. He's been that rapid today. The ball just hasn't been near him enough, but it's his sacrificial efforts and his tackling and his pressure which has been superb. He just needs a little bit more nourishment, the small forward.
I think that's fair. They've toiled away without much success of D-La's forwards today.
Old Zaverians clear by 7 points now. 30 minutes gone, final term at Toorak Park.
What a turnaround that one's been. Ball tossed back in. Richards couldn't gather it. Throwing it on the boot towards goal was Amendola. It's gone across the face. It's still in. Tucker happy to see it over the line. It's now a minor score. 7-3-45. D-La. Given 18-10, 118. The scoreboard for Bendigo Bank East Malvern. And we're into time on now in this final term.
So the Old Zaverians 82, Old Haileybury 75. That game's still going. University Blacks 56, the Blues 26. Old Brighton 99, St Bernard's 47. As we're with St Kevin's now as they shift it down the far side of the ground. A one-on-one. Jones will reach with one hand. It gets on the second bite. Umpire call play off. No sense of occasion. Jones is brought down. Loses control of the footy. Barnett's still in with a chance. Wants to go short to Gill. Does so. And the kick travelled just 15 metres. According to the umpire, he will go back from 35 metres out for a shot at his second.
That didn't travel 15 feet, let alone metres. Anyway, that was a legitimate one-hander, boys. The umpire had a good look at that.
Oh, well, they cancel each other out. One should have been paid, one shouldn't have been.
Well, correct, yeah.
Cal Jones, I think he was waving at the bench, putting both hands up, saying, I took that one. So this would be a chance then. A highest lead of the game for St Kevin's. They're at 73 points as it stands. Gill with his second. He's not going to be able to make it 79. We're back to a 74-point margin, equal with the largest of the game. 7-3-45 De La Salle after a scoreless second term, which is pretty much the story of this game. St Kevin's have moved on to 18-11, 119. Matt Donald.
Well, it's 11 goals to 7 outside of that second term, which would suggest a much more competitive game than what we've seen. Cameron has it at centre-half back and drives it out towards the wing. That's a nice kick. So they've got it out of trouble here. Healy up the ground. Now they've got on the wing to Stanton. He looks to hand pass it, and the kicking board's not a good one. Although doing well, they're spinning out of trouble nicely was Cavalis. Not a great kick though, only gained a few metres. And it's still on the wing though for Dealer. Can they make something work here? Buffalo's got it now. Comes on the right boot and back out towards the half-forward flank. St Kevin's with the numbers here. Reimers just flaps at it, tries to get it out of play and make a great deal of contact with the ball, but job done without a play for a boundary throw-in.
He's been great today, Buffalo. He's been at the bottom of every pack. He's tried really, really hard. But that entry there is just the story of the day for them. Long, high to a 2-on-1. You can't win a game of football with those sort of entries.
Just a quick one. The Old Zaverians have won it 11-16-82. Winners over the Old Halibarians 11-9-75. 7-point winners, the Zavs, after they were down by 5 goals across the second term and early in the third. Super effort from Dan Donati's men.
Well, just another example of why they're the team to beat in 2025. As the ball is tossed back in, Reimers taps it down. Winter hands it over the top. And now it's Andrisko who kicks it out towards Dilamitru. No mark taken. Mansfield running onto the football. Couldn't gather it cleanly and was bowled over. Ball still alive though. Comes back here for St Kevin's. Kick it in the middle of the ground is a shocker. Dimashki swoops on it. He's called to go by the umpire. Comes back out to half forward. That's not a great kick either. Playing out in front was Burley. He was pushed in the back and taken high. The umpire didn't spot either of them, and we'll get a ball up instead. Apologies, Hugo.
No, that's what I was going to say. Can we just get a message down to Turok Park and just see if we can get an interview with the Old Halibarians coach? I'm sure he'd be quite receptive of that Ward. He's not going to be happy with that one, Wardy.
I've heard he's rather the paint terror or paint stripper in the rooms at half-time if he needs to be, Daniel Ward. So there'll be stern words, I think, with the Old Halibarians. We're past the 30-minute mark now in this one, final term. St Kevin's have this one well and truly locked up, and there it is, a 74-point victory for the Scobbers, 18-11, 119. Doing things easily over De La Salle, 7-3-45. It's the Scobbers' first win on this ground since the 2017 season. Only 2 players out there on that day that were out there today. Tommy Jock was out there. He's just, as we mentioned a bit earlier in the broadcast, boys, a stalwart of this footy club. Sam Critchley as well. Anthony Lynch also played in that game. Adrian Indovino kicked 4 goals on that day for De La Salle. So a nice bit of history for St Kevin's. We'll go through the goal scorers before we get down to Harrison McIlwaine, who will have Paddy Kerr alongside him, our Skins player of the day. And it's good reading if you're a St Kevin's fan, truth be told. 6 for Paddy Kerr, 4 for Sam Critchley, 3 for Cal Jones and singles for Gunson, Mansfield, Walters, Gill and Barnett. For Dealer, 2 for Indovino, singles for Damashki, Amendola, Buffalo, Brooker and Young. Gentlemen, your thoughts before we get down to Harrison?
Well, if you look at that today, I mean, very comprehensive by St Kevin's. Probably a little bit like today's Glen. The first quarter, they just didn't really come with that proper intensity, but on display after that was just beautiful structure around the ball, excellent ball use. You've got a team all playing with this one game plan that they all know really, really well, because they can release the ball to space and they know someone will be there. Very good entries as well. I think Plugger was focusing on that, so he'd be happy after quarter time. Great scoreline too. I mean, last couple of weeks they were very, very conservative with their goal scoring, but kicked an absolute 18-11. You'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you will, and a third of those were off the boot of Paddy Kerr, who is our Skins player of the day, wins himself a pair of cutting-edge Skins compression tights, all thanks to Skins, the pioneers of sports compression, and Harrison McIlwaine has got him on the field. Take it away, Harrison.
Big man, 6 goals today. How does that feel?
Yeah, it was good. It's been a bit of a slug for my personal form, but overall it was good to sort of come off the bye after a big win against Xavier and get a bit of momentum and keep pushing through, which was good.
10 between you and your mate Critchley. How's it feel to be developing some chemistry with him down forward?
Good. He's been good down there, Sammy. Obviously a born leader. He's been playing for a long, long time, and even with his defensive ability that he's done for the last 6-8 years, whatever it is at Scob, he brings that down there, and it's just pure leadership, and we love him at the club.
You got any questions for him, boys?
Yes. Matty, go on.
Thank you, Paddy. Pat, Matthew Donald here. Congratulations on the win. We talked a lot about the centre clearance dominance from St Kevin's today. The ball was streaming out of the middle, straight to full forward. Must be a pretty easy life in that position when you're getting that kind of service provided to you on a regular basis.
Yeah, we've been trying. Oh look, we've been working really hard on getting the mids, that spread, and big Hamish Reeman's in the ruck. He's only a young fella and he's done an excellent job getting them the ball. And I think the cattle that we have in there, Winter and Co, they do it when they get their hands on it, they get it going forward. That's what we like, and we'll get it in, keep the forward line open, and it makes things a whole lot easier.
Paddy, you can start making your way over with your teammates if you'd like. I've just got a quick question for you on Sam Critchley. Big screamer in the last quarter. What the bloody hell was he doing up there?
Yeah, because he's had a week off in Noosa, hasn't trained, so he's coming in fresh. So first I've ever seen him jump, so maybe just give him training off every week.
Fantastic.
Good one. Hey, Paddy, Hugo here, mate. The delivery coming in, you spoke about that. What about the young bloke, Tommy Ferguson, mate? That was electric, that pass he delivered you within the last quarter.
Yeah, and we touched on it pre-game. Like he, came out of the school system, captained the school team, and then probably fell out of love with a bit of footy. And now he's come back here, and everyone loves having him around. And we'd love to see him playing VFL at the Tigers, but every chance we get to have him is just pure class.
Paddy, just the last question, because we've just got your coach, Anthony Plugger Lynch, who's got the headset on. Any feedback for the man in charge today?
No, he's doing a ripping job. I just keep up the big work, Plug.
Thanks, mate. Fantastic stuff. Paddy Kerr, you can get inside and sing the song. Skins Player of the Day, all thanks to Skins, the pioneers of sports compression. He wins himself a pair of tights. Anthony Plugger Lynch, the coach of St Kevin's, has just joined us in the commentary box. We've had Kerr best on ground, would you agree?
I'm never good at picking him straight after the game. I always need to watch it. I think he's kicked 6 or 7, did he?
Yeah, so,
6. Well deserved. Fair enough.
You'd be stoked with that performance, probably especially after quarter time. We heard outside of the huddle that you weren't quite. I think the message was the players were allowing someone else to do it.
Yep.
Off the first break, and that certainly didn't seem the case in that second term. You've kicked 6 or 7 goals and they didn't score at all. You must be elated.
Yeah, no, the second quarter was definitely the highlight. I still thought there was. I know you look critically as a coach sometimes, but I just think it's really important. I don't like fluctuations, in performance particularly when the scoreboard's in a positive position. I think there's a real risk that you just get comfortable, and it's not about today. It's about trying to build to something, be successful in big games and win finals and win premierships. So I just think really good teams are really ruthless and they don't allow opposition to have little passages of 10 or 15 minutes of momentum. Look, overall I'm thrilled, don't get me wrong, but I just think there's still things we need to tidy up in our game.
It's our post-game show. Well, thanks to Tate Mitre 10, service-driven and supporting commercial, residential and handyman builders plus retail customers. Matt and Hugo, over to you.
Anthony, congratulations on the win, and obviously Paddy Kerr is going to be the headline act with the 6 goals. About how impressed were you with some of the newer faces, particularly through the midfield? So Hamish Reeman's in the ruck,
yep.
and then Tommy Ferguson in the midfield on debut. Must be thrilled with the impact they had.
Yeah, I thought they both played really well, and obviously with Coates being out, he's been such a mainstay for us, and he's probably still a few weeks away. So Hamish was fantastic against Old Zavs in round 2, and again today. Yeah, he certainly gives us first use, and he's a big boy, and he plays that way. And yeah, it was great to see Ferg debut, ex-school first 18 captain. As I said earlier, he spent a couple of years up in Queensland University, so it's great to have him back. And yeah, hopefully we can keep him for a bit. He's a dynamic player, a bit different to what we've got in our midfield, so he gives us quite a different look, which I was thrilled about.
So Plugger, backline today, new look backline,
yep.
Performed really, really well. What do you take out of that one?
I thought at times we were really strong, and again it just comes back to my point before about just always being in the moment of the game. And I thought at times they got some really easy goals, even when we had outnumber in our D50. And that's just a mindset thing. That's an attitude, and sort of hoping someone else was going to cover for them. So as I said, I thought they were okay. I didn't know they were outstanding. Against Xavier, really formidable opposition and genuinely strong forward line. I thought they were really good, but I thought they were okay today. I think they were great. I think we've got work to do there.
Just one sour note. There was a pretty bruising game today. A lot of players in the wars. Yep. One was Sam Cameron. Yep. Can you give us an update on his
situation? I think he's fine, but I think he did get concussed. So yeah, unfortunately he'll miss a few weeks. And it's black and white for us. There's no grey area. Like if there's any risk, then they just don't play, and they miss as many weeks as they need to. They're far too important, and their health is way more important than footy.
It might interest you. Plug your play of Brighton away next week. They've gone out to St Bernard's and won by 9 goals on the road. Yep. How do you go about preparing a squad for a serious challenge?
Yeah, well, we've got a great recent history against them. I think our last 5 or 6 games have all been decided by under a goal. So, including our 2 games back-to-back last year, round 18 straight into a first final. So, I think irrespective of the form line, whenever both teams get together, it's a cracking contest. There's a lot of respect between the 2 clubs, all the way from the presidents, coaches, good friends with their coach, Mars, and the playing group. So I just think there's been a lot of history, obviously a grand final a couple of years ago and then a final again last year. So
it's always a challenging ground to play at, and we'll need to be at our best. And there was the offense part of today was good, but we need to tidy up our defense next week.
And just on the scoreline today, play lots of goals compared to the last couple of weeks. You'd be pleased with that?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I was really happy. We spoke pre-game about trying to tidy our entries up a bit. We've been quite a high team for entries, but just not super efficient. I was really happy with the areas we kicked to today. I thought we were kicking to much more dangerous spaces, sort of top of the goal square. And if we weren't able to catch it, our ground level players were there to sort of get a repeat stoppage or another shot.
Yeah, look, the forward defensive pressure was very, very good, but the two big blokes performed really well up there today. Didn't seem to get in each other's way once.
No, that's good, and they're both smart players, and obviously moving Sam Critcher, who's been our centre-half back and captain for the last 4 or 5 years, moving him forward was a really sort of big decision, because, with all that other experience that we'd lost over the last few years in that back line, he was probably the last remaining one, but we just think that with young key defenders, Tucker and Hart, it's really important that they get time to play together. They're our future. And Critchley's such a great competitive mark overhead that at worst he brings the ball to ground. I just think, I think they were really good today. So hopefully, they've only played 2 or 3 games together. So hopefully Kerr and Critchley can really build something formidable.
And one more I've got to ask you, Plugger. We talked about some of your younger players, but I can't not ask you about George Delamitru.
Yep.
Big season last year, best on ground in the under-19s grand final, and has played a bit for you already this year. How are you seeing his development?
Yeah, he's going really well, George. I didn't think he had his best game today, to be honest, but look, it was important that he played. Ferg's his best mate, and I think it's really important that when these special days where guys make debuts that George was in the team. So look, he's worked incredibly hard over the summer. He's had a VFL pre-season. I feel like he's just one game away from sort of realising his potential, but he's still a very young player. I'm confident he'll find that form really soon. We'll back him in.
Anthony Lynch, thanks for your time. Go and enjoy speaking to your boys after a big win.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Anthony Lynch, the coach of St Kevin's, victorious today on the VAFA SEN Match of the Day. And we've got you again next week, Plugger, for your game against Old Brighton. Geez, that looks like a ding-dong battle. The Tunners yet to drop a game in 2025. St Kevin's 2-1 after a loss in round 1 to Old Scotch, but
that's when you clear the calendar for.
Oh boy, I know we'll be clearing the calendar for that one. Looking forward to calling that one, I think, down at Brighton Beach Oval. Hugo Higginbotham, a good showing from St Kevin's, probably what we expected as far as their performances. They probably showed D-Lar a few levels, a little bit what top flight Ammo's football looks like at the very top end. How did you see the way that D-Lar played today?
Yeah, look, D-Lar, though, performed in moments, in patches. But what I've said about D-Lar before, now they need to close the gap between they're very good and let's just say they're not so good. And for that second quarter where they just basically went to sleep and went back into their shells, and look, that's a young side thing as well. So with a bit more experience, maybe they can shake that. But they just didn't find a mechanism there just to stop St Kevin's momentum, and that's something they need to work at.
I think it's a bit of a concern. Again, you mentioned that falling asleep thing, but you can't have a quarter, I think, in A grade and get away with it where you don't score.
Yep.
Even in a windy game, you've got to be able to hold up somehow. So I think to drop, 7 goals in that second term and not be able to score, it's a bit of a concern, I think, at this early stage for Nick Highland.
7-2 to nothing. But I think it's, and as I said earlier in the broadcast, outside of that it was 11 goals to 7. Across the other 3 quarters, so it sort of goes back to what we were saying pre-game, and it happened in the match against Old Zaz back in round 1. That when De La Salle were in the contest, it was a very even contest. But when they switched off, they couldn't. They were unable to stop a run of goals from the Zavs, and that was the case again in the second term, and that's something they'll have to work on.
Well, it's happened twice now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I wasn't across the game last week, but there's apparently a lot better performance. But you have to start to look at that now, and you look at things that you need to implement, just a mechanism when you can see this unfolding in front of you. You can't just let these things play out. In A grade, you can't do it for 10 minutes, let alone for 25 minutes, because it becomes telling. And as this group comes along and they develop a little bit more, they're going to need that, because that can be the difference between winning a game and losing a game.
Harrison McIlwaine's joined us back in the commentary box. Before we get to you, Harrison, let's go through our mark of the day for La Tosca, authentic gourmet pasta for Melbourne. It could be your boy Jamie Brooker in front of us early in the game, or it could be Big Sam Critchley in the last term.
Oh, look, for mine, it's got to be Sam Critchley, because that was, he was 3rd or 4th in line, and that's a forward line goal, and that's a mark that you want your forwards taking. So I think that one's mine for the day, but I'll leave it up to you guys.
I think I'll go with Critch, because if you're in your 30s and you can get up that high, I reckon that's a tick in my book.
It had a bit more air to it, I think, the mark. He got off the ground a bit high, looked more of a natural high flyer. Good mark from Brooker. I reckon on most other days he'd have it covered, but that was some fly by Critchley.
Looked good today, didn't he, Brooker? Goal of the day, thanks to Bendigo Bank East Morven for all your personal and
business banking needs? It's a little bit of a tough one because it was more about the way St Kevin's moved the footy than miraculous goals.
Exactly. It was an interesting one. I mean, there was a couple of good ones. Look, if young Liam Walters had slotted that one down the other end, that would have been a walk-up start. But, I don't know, Matty, what do you think, Billy?
I was wanting to give it to a set shot from Paddy Kerr. I think might have been in the first quarter. He was tucked up against the boundary line. He judged the breeze to perfection. So I'm going to give degree of difficulty a big scaling here because of the breeze. I thought it was a terrific finish. Not too many great general play goals today. It was a lot of accurate set shots. I don't know, Paddy, if there's one that springs to mind for you.
I want to go with Liam Walters as one purely for the goal assist from Jack Henderson. The up and under that went backwards and landed on his chest, which is just good quality stuff. Cheerio to Jack, who played a super game down back and looked okay forward. But, yeah, let's go with Paddy Kerr, I think. Yeah. Harrison McIlwaine, you've spent an entire game on the wing out there. Have you still got the function of your limbs at the moment, especially below the knee with the shorts on?
Yeah, mate, they look after themselves at this point. No, it was interesting. Something D-Lard do have to tidy up, I think, is even when they're when they seem to be using great endeavour, like in that first quarter, they still conceded a run of 4 out of 5 goals or something. So even when you are doing your best, you need to be locked down more than that, especially at this high level against a quality opposition. I think that'll be something that Nick Hyland pulls his hair out over this week.
Hugo, do you think that's system or personnel, that inability to stop the run?
Oh no! Look, it's probably realistically, it's probably experience and leadership, to be quite honest. Because you can bring some things in. I always used to say to my boys, if they kick 2 in a row or they kick 1-1 really, really quick, we lock down and we slow that momentum that they've got down and we try and wrestle it back. So it can be repeat stoppage, you roll an extra to the ball, things like that. It just seems like they didn't have that there, and that might be an indication of the age of the group as well.
This is the post-game show, all thanks to Tate Mitre 10. We're here in East Malvern, where it's St Kevin's 18-11, 119. Running out comfortable winners, De La Salle 7-3, 45, 74-point winners, the Scobbers. Let's briefly go around the grounds, gentlemen. We've got some results to get through. So, of course, the game yesterday on Anzac Day, it was Collegians who started their year finally with their first win of 2025, 13-11, 89 to 7-9, 51 winners over Old Scotch, the reigning premiers. What a performance that was. Matt, you were there. What impressed you about Collegians?
Their pressure right from the opening bounce. They were absolutely up for the fight, Collegians, and I think they caught Scotch by surprise a bit. I mean, the Scotch were unbeaten heading into the match on their home deck. I think they expected that they were going to get a reasonably comfortable win, but Collegians were all over them right from the first bounce, and another one of their players, Jonty McGuinness, who was in the ruck against Will Clark, much like what we saw with Remus today, he really helped set the tone. Alexander Lukic up in the forward line was imperious. He was terrific with 5 goals. And really the rest of their teammates fed off that energy that those two big men brought. I know it's a bit of a shock to see that margin, but they were full value for it, Collegians. They were by far the better side.
Yeah, happy for Geordie McKenzie and his men. Today's results, so the University Blacks are away in 2025 as well. 9-8-62 to 3-9-27 winners at Melbourne University Oval against the Blues. So a bit of an upset there from the Blacks.
Good performance there from the Blacks. Now let's talk about the Blues a little bit as well. I think they've got D-Lar next week, is it?
If I look ahead, they have D-Lar at Melbourne Uni.
So that'll be a very interesting game there. There'll be a lot of pressure on both those sides to really want to break the duck at the moment. So that'll be a very interesting game, that one.
Yeah, Blues 1 win in the season so far. D-Lar the only team that are yet to break their duck, but that win, I think, for the Blues coming in the last few minutes over Collegians, I think back in round 2. Over at St Bernard's College, the Tunners 14-17, 101. Defeating St Bernard 7-5-47. 54-point winners, last year's minor premiers. I'm told a Harry Hill and Tom Fisher clinic through the midfield. It tells us a little bit about both clubs, this result. St Bernard starting with 2 wins on the road, but probably coming back to earth against last year's grand finalist.
Yes, and talking about that last year's grand finalist as well, is they would have taken a lot out of that. And I think we spoke to Marcel last week, and you just sort of could see the growth amongst the group. But then, you look at players like Harry Hill, who, he was so driven after what unfortunately happened in the finals last year. He was excellent last week. I called that game, and Harry Hill there too. So I can see he's heading for a big year. But they're a really good side, Old Brighton. They're really well structured, and don't worry, I think they'll be thereabouts again when the pointy end.
Yeah, there's a fire in Harry Hill's belly. I interviewed him on the ground after that last win, stirring performance from him as skipper, and there's just leadership oozing out of his paws. He wants to right that wrong.
Spot on. Old Zavarians, this is probably the match of the round, you'd say, Hugo and Matt and Harrison. 11-16-82, comeback victory over Old Haileybury at Toorak Park, 11-9-75. The Zabs by 7 points. They were down by 5 goals late in that second quarter and early in the third as well. So that's a remarkable result from the Zabs.
Yeah, that's a big margin, 5 goals in any game of footy, especially after half-time, to come back from that. And look, would they win by 7 points, I think? So that's a six-goal turnaround too. I had Old Haileybury last week, and very similar. They had a lapse for one quarter, the first quarter, and then the margin was basically the same. So I think it was for the rest of the day. So they do have some really, really good players there. The Seckle boys, I know they're amazing. They're a side that's definitely going to compete well up here in A grade after coming up last year, and they'll really be disappointed about that one today.
Yeah, the story as well is that Ben Bilston-McGillen out of the game early with a lower leg injury. Let's go to Premier B quickly. We'll whiz through these scores. It was Williamstown CYMS by 20 points over Fitzroy in Fitzroy yesterday on the Anzac Day game. 75-55 winners. That was a clinic from Jordan Buzzertle, who is a super player in this division. Old Carey have got up by 24 points over Old Camberwell, 97-73. So the graduating Premier C team, the Panthers, have started 2025 like a house on fire, 2-1 with a healthy percentage. They're in the top 4 as things stand. Old Ivanhoe by 3 points. Victors over the Old Melburnians at Elstonwick Park. Cool. This looks like an absolute killer dilla. 14-12-96 the Hoers, 14-12-96, 14-9-93 the Old Melburnians. And that one was close all day. It looked like the Hoers up by a goal at three-quarter time, holding on late. So that's a serious contest. Those are two teams that will be right at the top of Premier B. We'll get to Premier C in a moment as well for Harrison McIlwaine's segment. Over at Boss James Reserve, Old Trinity look to have done it. That score's not finalised yet, but they're 14-11-95 over Hampton Rovers, 10-3-63. Then we head to Como Park. Early in the fourth quarter, it's Old Geelong 13-8-86, leading Caulfield Grammarians 8-8-56, so an even 5-goal lead. Premier C, Harrison. Now, I've got to give this segment to you. You are the man who writes all the reports and knows the ins and outs. What are you going to be speaking about on Monday at this stage?
Mate, massive result. Game 2v3, Parkdale and Beaumaris. Parkdale away from home, winning by 63 points. 21-10, 136 to 11-7-73. I'm looking forward to my phone call with Owen Lawler on Monday. He'll be up and about after that result. Around the grounds elsewhere, Parkside ran out winners over Marcelin, 12-5, 77 to 10-7, 67, I believe. Yes. Ajax continued their strong start to the season, top of the ladder, 16-19, 115 to 4-6-30. Craig Millwood's not going to be in a good mood after that result. At Pegs run out 6-12, 48 to 4-5-29, winners over Mazenod. And the only other game, St Bede's Mentone Tigers over Glen Ira, 21-15, 141 to 7-14, 56. That's a bit of a drubbing, and Guy Martin's rough start to life as the Griffins coach continues.
Just looking at this score in the Beau Morris Parkdale Vultures game, Parkdale kicked 10-4-64 to one straight 6 in the first term.
Oh dear.
That'll do it.
9-goal win. Goodness gracious. Yeah. And then Beau Morris only with a 1-goal 2 in the second quarter, and Parkdale continuing on its merry way. They're up by 89 points at three-quarter time, so a little bit of pride saved by the Sharks in the final term. That is a serious result.
Well, if you look at it, that first quarter is essentially the margin that it stayed at. Because, 58 points and what they ran at 63-point winners. So, difficult.
Well, that's just about everything ticked off, I think, gentlemen. Fantastic job. Fantastic job to our man Bruce on the buttons as always. A new ground unlocked for you, I think, Brucey, out here in East Morven. Did a magnificent job of setting us up on the wing. And a big thank you to the D-La Footy Club for setting us up, for allowing us the access into the huddles and with the coaches and with their heads of football. It was a fantastic day. Not the result they were after, but we appreciate the way they've looked after us and ran the Anzac ceremony. Pre-game, the score here, De La Salle 7-3-45, losing to St Kevin's 18-11, 119. My name is Paddy Grindlay, Hugo Higginbotham, our first time working together, and it was a treat.
Been an absolute pleasure, Paddy. We've watched your work from afar, from the other side of the call box over the years as a coach, and it's great to be on board. And I've got to say, it's great to be a part of the A-team. So I think we're the A-team callers at the moment. It's got Matty here as well, which was an excellent day.
Yeah, we'll get feedback on that one. Harrison McIlwaine, your SEN Match of the Day debut, I believe, as well.
It was.
Well done. Fantastic stuff from you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Matty Donald, called the socks off it.
No, Paddy, always a pleasure.
Yeah, big weekend for you. 2 VAFA games in the can. From all of us here in East Morven, a big thank you if you tuned in today for the course of the broadcast. We'll catch you next week for an absolute
dynamite contest between St Kevin's and Old Brighton down at Brighton Beach Oval. Until then, we'll catch you during the week. For the love of the game, keep up to date with everything on vafa.com.au. See you next time.
This has been the SEN Match of the Day. Thanks to William Buck. Join us again next week on the SEN app, sen.com.au and vafa.com.au.
Hey guys, it's Dylan.